Alright, those are your clap marks, Noah.
Yeah. Alright.
And then I smack the toilet, even though we started recording everywhere. So I'm recording.
That's okay.
Wasting storage space.
That's okay, because honestly what I like doing is I like getting a bunch of intros and I like choosing the best one.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
You can edit it in post.
Yeah, we can edit and post. That's funny. A lot of sections of my videos get like cut and moved around anyways. So
You'll figure out the best flow when the time comes.
alright, I'm just gonna start saying some intros. Alright guys, we did it!
Scripted one.
What?
We do have the scripted one.
Yeah, we got the scripted one, but I might do a few more just in case. Like, I might do a different one on mine and yours.
The script is kind of silly, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Not in like a good way.
I feel like,
But like,
well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking, since we're gonna post this on 2 different channels anyways.
I'm also going to turn off the furnace because that just turned on.
Mhm. Here's what I'm thinking anyways.
Cost a lot,
We can have
so.
2 different, like, versions of it, where I can open up, like, my Super Mario movie does, where it's like, we just got back from the movie theaters, and Isaiah's unfortunately not here because Isaiah's a familiar character on my actual videos, so I'll address him. But obviously, I won't keep that in for the Super Crew version. The Super Crew version will keep that with, can't believe, you know,
like the whole scripted bit.
yeah, we'll keep the whole scripted bit. Like, imagine going to prom over frickin' seeing the Minecraft movie. Oh yeah, and I guess one more review or one more refresher. Try to keep the swearing.
I want to
to a
make sure
minimum.
that it's not using the Connect microphone because that's also ass quality.
If you have to use it as to like remember something, I can like edit that out, but it is always like a little bit of time to do that every single time.
Yeah.
So
For what?
if you swear, if you're like trying to be on
because
a thought,
because Noah has a family friendly channel.
yeah. So
Well,
Christian
Super Crew.
Minecraft server?
Christian Minecraft
Well,
server.
the Super
yes.
Crew is much less so.
We can use any of the words that they would say in the Minecraft movie.
Didn't they say a lot of funky words?
Butt cheeks.
We need to know. Pull up that
It's
that
in the
list
doc.
of
It's in
swears.
the doc.
It's
Yeah.
in the doc.
Well,
need to
yeah,
listen
Levi,
to
you
swears
have
on
the
a
doc,
second.
right?
Also, this is not going to be used unless if we get like some like super rough cut that goes on archives. But
Yeah.
I'm just in the corner. Just,
Yeah.
I got the mouse.
in the corner. He's out of the spot.
How many
Like-
tens of people watch your channel?
It depends.
Yes.
Remember that my first the Mario movie review got 500 views when it first
But
dropped.
then again, you
so-
turned it out pretty quick. It looked
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
within the week.
Well, yeah, because we were like the first people that actually saw the movie. So.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm just gonna do like a few intros. I don't know if you're in the bathroom, Levi, but like I'm probably gonna do a different intro for my channel and yours. So we'll stick to your bit for the first like few years, and then mine will be much more like the actual Super Mario movie, where it's like we just got back from theaters. All right, fellas, we just got back from the Minecraft movie. Yeah! So we got a different group of boys here today. Unfortunately, my brother Isaiah had his senior prom, so he gave us his blessing to do the review without him. He's gonna see it on Sunday.
Alright,
Yeah.
alright.
Sunday. Hedgers and clippers and hedgers and clippers and hedgers and clippers.
Yeah. So yeah, imagine going to your senior school prom instead of viewing this peak cinema.
So Noah, what'd you think of the movie?
Honestly, right now already, I'm gonna be straight up honest. I thought it was dog.
It's like Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like Dennis. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a hard sell for me. I mean, it's like as the official Minecraft movie, it's fine, but I think I have my gripes. Like, I think we all knew that it was not going to be peak cinema when we were actually watching the movie. But, I mean, it's like, it is what it is. It's a movie.
I still think it did a decent job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think it was truly peak cinema.
Really?
Honestly,
Okay.
Okay.
this was peak cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peak
Alright.
child-friendly cinema.
I'm glad we...
How high is that bar from the ground, Bjorn?
Peak cinema.
I'm glad that we have a lot of differentiated opinions, because that will make for a really good YouTube video, actually.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Mm-hmm. Alright. Well, do you guys want to start out with some general thoughts about the movie, I guess?
I mean,
I guess I'll start what I honestly thought. If you want me to get to my brash tacks with what the movie at its core
Bold
is.
and brash.
Old and brash. If you want me to be absolutely brash about it, I think the Minecraft movie ultimately is, do you care for Jumanji? And do you care for Jumanji so much that you would rewatch it with an HD real-life Minecraft texture pack slapped on it?
Now, are we talking about? Do you even know about the like modern Jumanji reboot? Are we talking about like the classic Jumanji that was like predicated by Zathura, or are we talking about the cursed PS2?
No, I'm just talking about the Jumanji that just came out, the one with Jack Black in it. It's
The
literally
cursed PS2.
The cursed PS2.
Yeah, like literally, if you liked that movie, here it is, Jumanji 2, Minecraft Edition Boogaloo.
Even though we already had a Jumanji too, but that's aside from the point.
Yeah.
I didn't even give enough thought to remember that those movies existed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're fun if you turn your brain off.
that is true.
That's a lot of movies.
It's like all movies with The Rock.
I think
It's amazing if you just don't think about it too
But that's
hard.
beside the point
Yeah.
right now.
I don't know if you want like me to dominate the conversation a little
We're
bit.
talking
Obviously,
about Stone right now, not Rock.
Rock and Stone!
I think in my kind of opinion, the thing that kind of like made me so interested about a Minecraft movie all like the years, like 10 years ago, by the way. This is a movie that was supposedly 10 years in development,
Oh,
if you want
God,
to believe
it
that.
was.
I bet this
Oh.
movie is completely different than what it first started out as. It just kind of feels like they made a Minecraft movie, but it's just kind of like they went for such a mute point as terms of like what a Minecraft movie could be, because it's like if you were to make a Minecraft movie realistically, what would you like, what's your first thought? You're like, well, I want to see an adventure where these guys, you know, find their way through the world, like uncovering secrets, eventually getting to the end and, you know, beating the game of Minecraft. That would be my first kind of thing for like my first thought for a Minecraft movie. But it's like the whole movie in question is like a war with Minecraft versus the Nether. And it's like, okay, but the Nether is like a side quest in the grand scheme of Minecraft. Like, this is what we're framing the Minecraft movie off of? I don't know. That's just me.
I have to disagree with you, quite
Yeah?
honestly. Yeah, I have to disagree. And I think specifically because this is 10 years in the making, this movie above all shows off the problem with the cutting room floor.
Okay.
There's so much of this movie where it is obvious that a lot of thought was put in and a lot of backing information was cut.
Okay.
Much of this movie shows that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with your position earlier about the movie not necessarily showing what you would want for the Minecraft movie, I have to bring up to you, if you wanted a Minecraft movie from spawning all the way to defeating the Ender Dragon, that is too much for a single movie. If it was a
Yeah.
series or another medium, maybe, but not for a single feature-length movie.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get at, oh my god, I can't talk. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, you know, when you're signing on, like, let's say like for the Mario movie, for example, which me and my brother, you know, we kind of gave it a thumbs up. Which, again, it's not like, you're not going into the movie thinking like, oh, it's going to be like legitimately a good movie. You're basically going into a movie knowing that, okay, this is a Super Mario Bros. Movie that is made by Illumination. It's like, you know what you're kind of going to get, where it's like, you're going into a Minecraft movie, and it's like, it's almost like the potential for a Minecraft movie is a little bit different, because, and not to say like, as a clear example, but the people who made this, like the people who like, you know, produced the film, WB, right? Warner Brothers. Yeah. Obviously they made the Lego movie, and I think that is a fantastic example of taking a broad concept such as Lego and expanding it out to be like a movie that really not only screams what Lego is, but how it can be adapted to a creative medium. You have something, Levi?
The thing is with the Lego movie, wasn't that a Lord Miller production?
I mean,
Yeah,
true, it is
it was.
completely different
Like
people.
it was still Warner Brothers, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
Like Warner was backing the project, but it was largely Lord Miller.
that is true. But my point is, like, it is totally possible to take a movie as broad as Minecraft or Lego, and you can go at places with it. I just don't really feel like they really challenge that. They just look at the Super Mario movie where it's like, well, Mario fights Bowser. They look at the Angry Birds movie. Angry Birds fight the pigs. They look at Sonic. Sonic fights Eggman. And then the Minecraft movie, they're like, well, Steve has got to fight the Netherians, I guess. That's what we're working with here.
But I do want to bring up a point that was brought up during interviews before the release of the film. I don't remember exactly who it was on the production team. It was like the producer or something. Again, I don't remember specifically. But they had brought up the idea of this just being one kind of story that you could tell within the greater world of Minecraft. And specifically as words. And that being the specific reason for calling this a Minecraft movie, as opposed to the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, that's
Because, kind of like the same thing what you said with the Lego movie, Minecraft really is a blank slate that you can build whatever you want with, just like Lego, and just like creative mode. So I can understand like kind of where you're coming from on that front, and how it can be a little lackluster that it's just the frickin' nether pigs or whatever they're called.
The piglins.
It must be brought up, though, that this is not just a story about Minecraft survival mode. This is also Minecraft Dungeons. It is used quite a lot within the movie. Parts from Minecraft Dungeons. And it must be remembered that Minecraft Dungeons does, by and large, take place within the overworld and the nether.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the end. So having the nether as a big bad within their other media of Minecraft Dungeons makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They are this. It doesn't necessarily have to have the dragon fight at the end to have it be quintessentially Minecraft.
Yeah. Man, I gotta be completely honest, the Minecraft Dungeon stuff threw me for a complete loop in this movie. I had no clue what in the world some things were coming from sometimes.
Bjorn
To be
over
fair,
here being
I don't
probably
play
the-
either.
You don't even play either?
I don't play Minecraft Dungeons either. I just like how it looks.
I'm gonna be
You did more research on dungeons than the rest of us, I think.
Yeah,
I looked it up for 5 minutes on my phone when things popped up. That's
I'm
all
gonna-
I did.
That is more research than the rest of us.
literally, my only experience with Minecraft Dungeons is I walked over to, I think, you guys playing it one day just to try it out, and I'm just like, this game looks so mid, bro.
It's just
And then I
Diablo.
just walked away. I know, what I saw was, I saw a cow just moving, and then you killed it, and it dropped an apple, and I'm like, okay, I'm out.
You guys have played more than I have. I've never played the game before. What do you mean?
I do not remember a single thing from that hour and a half play session we did
Yeah,
3 years ago.
Back when I paid for Game Pass, we just downloaded it and just like,
Like,
yeah, let's
yeah,
try
why
it.
not?
It's free with Game Pass.
Why not? And again, I don't remember the hour and a half we played.
Yeah, that's
It-
how memorable it was.
Yeah.
Clearly, as memorable as this high concept quality
Oh, the high
comedy movie.
Okay, so when doing my research on this film, thanks to good old IMDb, I had noticed one of the tags is specifically high concept comedy. And I was just like, okay, what other films does IMDb consider a high concept comedy? Well, for starters, the Super Mario Brothers movie is a high concept comedy.
High concept movie. Was laughing all the way, fellas. Bowser singing Peaches.
Yes.
Peak.
That
Uh,
was big.
Fittingly enough, Jumanji, the remake, also
Okay, I'm 2 for
a
2.
high concept comedy. For some reason, Back to the Future is
Ooh.
listed as a high concept comedy.
I mean, I that's
What
probably
is
the
the
highest
concept of a high concept comedy?
By and large,
does it require you to use more brain power than Unga Bunga Moving Picture?
I think that
Maybe.
you required it as a high concept comedy movie. By and large, you need Jack Black. Is what I'm hearing.
Counterpoint, The Truman Show is considered a high concept comedy.
Or Jim Carrey. One of the two is required for high concept comedy.
If these are high concept quality, or if these are high concept comedies, what qualifies as low concept
I
quality?
don't know.
A lack thereof.
Another high concept comedy is good old Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That was high concept.
That was
That is a
actually
very
high
high
concept,
concept film in itself. Another high concept comedy is apparently Home Alone.
Home Alone, baby, the highest concept.
Kid gets abandoned during Christmas. High concept.
Okay, unironically
Peak
though,
fiction.
it's higher concept than a lot of the other movies we've listed.
Okay, fair. Last one I want to bring up is the 2023 Darling film, Barbie.
That was rather high concept.
Okay, yeah.
Extremely high
Very
concept.
high. Higher concept than most of the stuff I listed, probably.
I think that
Higher
was actually
concept
fair.
than most of the stuff that I've watched in the last couple of years. To be
Fair enough.
completely fair to the movie, they did extremely well touching on a lot of those subjects. So that is not what we are reviewing right now.
I still have to get around to watching that.
You should watch it. You should have watched it when
Soon.
Oppenheimer was going on. Go from one theater to the other.
That's
what I did.
exactly what I did.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way you watch it.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer to Barbie. Or Barbie to Oppenheimer,
I think-
depending on your taste.
I think I did Octobarb. I think
Up the
that's
bar. Nah, truly you need the peak viewing experience where you literally watch them both at the same time. Just
One
on
in
both
one eye, one
monitors.
in the other.
No, but you have to speed one up so that they start and end at the same time.
Well, you would be
So
watching
one of them-
Oppenheimer nearly double speed.
Yeah, you're basically watching Oppenheimer double speed.
Is that like one of those in one ear you listen to the
Oh,
Bible in Chinese at
oh.
500% speed, and the
I
other
know.
one you have like 20 hours of calming music or something?
What is this, a fucking TikTok video?
Oh, this was a YouTube
With Subway
video.
Surfers?
Yeah,
And Family Guy
exactly.
funny moments.
Yes.
And cutting soap in the background, too.
Yes.
1,000-degree knife.
1,000
1,000-degree knife.
Oh,
A
man.
1,000-degree Chinese Bible and
Calming rain sounds in the other
yes,
ear.
exactly.
All things considered, though, I think the theater that we were at, though,
Oh,
it was
God.
filled with. I feel like just this opening day, people were just memeing all
Oh.
over the place in the movie theaters. It was probably the worst actual theater experience I think I may have actually had.
Okay,
Not gonna
so
lie.
opening weekend, Friday, the first show after school gets out.
Worst time to watch
Yeah,
this.
Oh,
it was so
absolutely.
bad.
Theater was packed with a bunch of parents and their little kids. That was fine. And then the Gremlins showed up. I'm talking about the 14th or 17-year-olds who would not stop talking, kept doing like forced laughs throughout the film.
Yeah.
One of them in the front was on Snapchat most of the time, and I'm pretty sure this guy called a summon on his
Somehow,
manager
some way.
to get that kid to fucking stop it.
Yeah, but at the same time, that is the kind of theater, like, that is just the common theater experience in most cases, unfortunately.
It was bad. I probably would have wanted to go on a Thursday and paid $5 instead.
That sounds
Yeah.
really bad.
Tuesday, fuck.
Yeah.
The thing is, Tuesday is going to be worse
Mhm.
because cheaper tickets
Yeah.
No, you go to the first show on Tuesday.
at like noon.
Yes.
Fair.
See, this
That's
is
how
the
I saw.
problem.
That's how I saw Sonic 1 all by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
See, this is the problem right here with all of the, the viewing stuff that you all had. Now, I, on the
You
other
were on the
hand,
other side of
got
the
to
theater
sit on the
tonight.
other side of the theater, surrounded by younger, happier children who had such a great time. They were laughing. They were having a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say this
They-
movie was actually pretty popular with kids in
Oh,
the theater
yeah.
we were in.
As
So
it should be.
Yeah.
All I was surrounded by was parents and their children having a great time at a beautiful family show. And honestly, I was right there with them. If you didn't have a bunch of teenagers trying to convince each other about how cool they are, it's a great movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll say this: we knew every single meme that was supposedly made for this movie, thanks to those teenagers just yelling it out
Oh,
every
yeah.
single time it would happen.
Every time.
And I
They
guess-
knew all the moments.
I guess
They
I didn't
had.
say this before, but the only context I have for the movie going in were the original 2 trailers. Not even the final trailer. I didn't even watch that one. But, like, with what I saw, even with those 2 trailers, you could practically, like, piece together the entire movie just with those 2 trailers alone. I think even any of the, like, trailers after the fact, that was probably even overkill.
Probably where the kids got the lines that they were freaking yelling in the back.
for
I
sure.
mean, when It was kind of cool that everybody in the theater did go, I am Steve,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they
Yes.
fucked it up because they used a different cut in the movie than they did in the trailer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
they
the
completely-
cadence of Jack Black saying "I am Steve" was not the "I am Steve" that everybody already knew getting into the movie theater.
The cinematic and director's cuts did not line up. So
But-
sad.
Yeah.
But at the very least,
Minecraft
everyone
movie
came
DX
together for the
director's
moment.
Yes.
Everyone came together for the moment, and in a way, that was already like special in itself.
Yeah.
It was like when we went to the Wazzies and everybody said, "Hey, all Scott here."
Oh,
when
that
was
we
good.
previewed the new episode a day early.
Oh yeah, that was
legit.
all
All right. Well, let's see. We talked about high concept quality. So I guess here's another thing I kind of have with the movie. One of the strange choices that I don't quite agree eye to eye with is they very centralized this movie about being like very 80s for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's take this very nostalgically like 2010s game that a lot of people, you know, that are now obviously in their 20s and, you know, their teens and whatever, they're going to feel nostalgic for that era, but they're purposely capitalizing on 80s and 90s nostalgia in particular. Like, a lot of the movie is like framed like Ataris, and you see an NES at one point, and you see all of these like retro games. I hope Dig Dug was there. I didn't see Dig Dug, but I hope for the sake of Minecraft, I hope Dig Dug is there.
But if you ask me, that could just be a half-hearted attempt to try and keep the parents' attention, because that's what the parents know as video games.
It might also have been like a suit and tie decision.
Yeah.
This sounds like, when was it that Pixels came out? And that era of movies.
Probably
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
This
10 years
has been
ago.
in work for 10 years. I fully believe that this is another evidence of major stylistic changes within the movie.
Yeah.
The character's still there. The real world is still set for a movie centered around the idea that games are games are games. When, in practice with the rest of the movie, it was completely detached.
Yeah.
I think this is a clear evidence of cuts being made within the story itself.
Yeah, and again, it's just my vibe is like, if you told me, like, what's the vibe of Minecraft? I'm like, that's like PC, that's like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, that's like,
Yeah.
that's what I think of, and it's just like, no, arcades, baby! Let's load them up the quarters. We're
Yeah,
doing
like,
Play
it's-
Minecraft at the arcade.
It would
Yeah.
be fun, but like, it is a definite clash, especially when you really start to think about how all the pieces are trying to connect for this film.
Yeah, I just felt like that kind of missed the mark a little bit in terms of the vibe.
So,
But yeah, I guess we can also just talk about other funny things with the movie. I mean, overall, I thought it was good. I thought that the choice for setting the movie in Idaho was a little funny. Like, Idaho specifically.
Yeah, like,
I almost had to do a little bit of research after the movie. I'm like, what is so significant about Idaho? And according to everybody, it was like, well, it was for the bit with the potatoes. And potatoes do kind of play their role in the movie, barely, but
Barely.
I guess the actual reason for why they did is because Idaho is like notorious for like mines and stuff like that. Like supposedly like
Is that a
1500.
reputable source, or is that the Google tree burning machine?
No, that one was the actual reputable source. The other one, I forgot what the AI was for. Oh, no, the AI told me that Nintendo made Minecraft Dungeons.
I don't know how it got that.
This is what we're basing our future on, kids.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Idaho.
Idaho. Oh, like,
I would have thought it would have definitely lent more toward its like Sweden heritage personally, and I almost was kind of hoping it would embrace that, but nope, just Idaho.
no, it just.
Well, also, like, USA American kind of, like, dominates the global culture anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what a United States is.
Yeah, but
Everybody knows what a cheeseburger is.
Mhm.
And, like, there are two primary settings for a film that's US. You have the super urban New York, Chicago type, and you have the super rural Midwest, Idaho.
Mhm.
Like, and you want to have a film that's more set as this isolated space, go for the Midwest. And by sheer coincidence, it feels like they just went with Idaho because it fit well with the whole mining aspect.
Potato joke.
Potato jokes, I guess. They do stuff with potatoes in the movie. I guess that's something they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is our next topic?
There is the question of being able to actually pull like proper thematic like weight to parts of the scenes. I think they did truly give a good example of reactions to the undead within this movie, which was not expected at all.
Oh yeah, for sure. This movie honestly becomes a straight up zombie movie at one point. For
like
a little
5
bit.
minutes.
I'm like, for that part, I'm not sure if the kids are gonna like that part. That would be the part that I would be a little scared bringing my kids to the movie if I had any. But yeah, it legit becomes like an actual zombie movie for a fleeting moment.
It shows the horror of your first night in Minecraft extremely well.
So
It perfectly showed off how scary it is when you're truly immersed in the game to all of a sudden be surrounded by the undead. It did that extremely well.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was shocked with the amount of, I wouldn't say body horror, but the amount of violence that happened to these zombies.
Yeah,
They're some of the only characters where you hear bones break.
Especially like during some sequences where the zombies get knocked down and their like arms are just in broken positions. They just like struggle to get back up and manage to correct themselves. It's honestly a little crazy that the film managed a PG rating with that in mind.
I guess it's
But-
just so
It just
it's so
reaches
fun.
that. It like,
Yeah.
honestly, in a weird way, yeah.
I
It's
don't
such a.
think it's in a weird way, honestly.
I guess it's not what I would have expected from a PG film.
It's not what I expected from Minecraft. but it's
Exactly,
for-
like, I was
Sure.
not expecting, like, such almost, like, awkward, like, contection, like, what's the word for it? Contortions of,
Yeah.
like, all the zombies. I'm like, dang, this is, like, actually...
Showing off what a compound fracture looks like on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That also brings up, in that scene, shows something that's kind of strange within the movie, which is the weightiness of everything, or specifically the lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
These characters are able to throw people around and throw things around with reckless abandon.
Oh, for sure. The, like, the whole, like, ragdoll physics was totally a result of, like, the green screen-a-thon that basically all the actors had to do.
Oh, yeah.
It was very much they were exerting their power on the world and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, to a degree, there was some of that being forced upon the actors. The big thing that comes to mind is the first time, what's his name, Garrett interacts with a creeper, where, like, he just gets flown back by the explosion and lands so hard, like, a good distance away.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
But that's also, like, on the opposite end, like, what is the weightiness on the humans themselves?
Yeah, these characters do not have health bars in this
Oh.
movie. I just want to say that.
Like,
No.
a creeper exploding that close to you, you're gone.
He's dead.
Yeah.
With,
He's
like, no armor on, like,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, you'd be in low health regardless,
Mm.
even if you survived.
Maybe he's just a big boy. He is,
He's a big
you know,
boy.
he
I
is Aquaman.
He is Aquaman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll get to the cast later. We'll get
Yeah.
to the cast later, because, oh my goodness, this casting.
Yeah.
But, regardless,
But for real, I do feel like it's interesting how they handled death. I was almost wondering, like, are they gonna play into the bit that these guys can respawn as many times as they're like? And they never, like, make it super obvious in the movie, but it's like, if these guys die, they're basically dead for good. It's like, if you die, you die. So it's like you don't want to
if
die.
you die in Wii Sports, you die in real life.
Yup.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
These fuckers are playing on hardcore mode.
Yup, hardcore.
it's like reality.
Something that has to get brought up about this movie, even from the beginning, is the centrality of creativeness and the creative spirit that is shown. They centered the entirety of Steve's beginning moments as a creative pursuit, him being unhappy with his life and pushing towards a creative outlet. And through the entire movie, it feels like that creative drive, and which is the center of Minecraft, at least the survival game, Minecraft, I don't know, it just seems to have caught that central theme.
And even to an extent, the creative building side of Minecraft as well is expressed pretty well with a lot of the structures that we see built and naturally spawned.
Oh yeah, for sure. His first house is literally just dirt hut.
Dirt hut, yeah.
That's pretty good.
That was great.
First, second, and third houses all being horrific, like just horrible buildings.
Yeah.
Everybody's a noob at one point.
Exactly.
It's true.
It's perfect. A perfect depiction of beginning Minecraft. I was not expecting that. I came in expecting nothing.
Yes.
And I was blown away by those moments.
Honestly, that's the best way to go into any movie you're not sure about. Blank slate.
Blank slate.
Whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm. I will say, for the sake of, since we were kind of talking about the ratings, like, would I bring my kids to this movie? There was, a surprising little bit of, like, questionable language that I probably wouldn't have, like, if I'm letting my kids watch this, I probably wouldn't let that fly.
Like, again, it really feels like it's pushing a little bit toward the edge of PG-13 with some of the language being used, but it's nothing, like, properly explicit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, let's see, let's bring up the page. We got words like, as they say, idiot, poo, oh my god. They say hell a lot in this movie. They're really proud of saying hell in this movie.
But they do not refer to the Nether specifically as hell.
That is true.
They use the phrase hell to describe the Nether, but never like that place is hell.
Mm-hmm.
They never go to that degree.
It's a location rather than a concept.
They also really like their butts in this movie. I kid you not. I think one point of the movie, Jack Black is just, as Steve, by the way, he's just gonna be like, I'm gonna take a massive dump on you. And I'm just like, would Steve say that? Would Steve say that?
He would say that.
The world's greatest review website, Common Sense Media, What Are We, Microwave Society,
Yes.
lists count them, 4 different no words that are just butt.
Suck. They do say suck, too.
Yeah. Like, this sucks.
This sucks.
Butt cheeks, suck butt. They caught a lot of these things
Yeah.
all
Oh,
together.
yeah.
They had an extreme fixation on the characters' butts. Not to mention,
We'll get to that scene.
well, not just that scene, but at the beginning, early on, Jason Momoa threatens to crush Jack Black's head with his butt.
Oh yeah, good point.
Do not forget.
With a camera squarely on his ass.
That,
Squarely when he flexes his butt.
the kids popped off to that.
That was like
yeah.
the beautiful scene for the little kids. The little kids loved that
Oh,
scene.
absolutely.
That
they
might
did.
have been the loudest thing in the theater, other than the "I am Steve" moment.
Truly, they did have a grasp on their target audience.
Yeah.
They grabbed them by the head and shook them violently through this entire film. They had them purely on the edge of their seats. At least if the little ones who are around me were anything to go by, they had them hook, line, and sinker.
Oh yeah, and even the smaller kids around us that weren't the annoying teens were all in as well.
But what do the kids think about Jack Black's amazing singing, though?
I don't know if they reacted to him singing per se.
I don't know how many people expect Jack Black to sing in like a movie. If Jack Black is in the movie, do you think people expect him to sing, or do you think it's just like forced when you do it? Because I feel like at this point,
I think we're getting to a point where Jack Black is kind of forcing himself to sing.
yeah,
Especially after getting, what was it, nominated for Best Original Song for Peaches in the Mario movie?
Peaches. I will say,
Specifically for Peaches.
Peaches is a lot more memorable than the songs that he has here.
That
I
is
can't
fair.
remember a single one through the entire movie, and he sang
like
4 times?
3-4 times.
3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that at all. Like this just came out of nowhere. It's like, yes, this is very Jack Black, but it's a little forced.
In all fairness, one of the songs the teens were obnoxiously laughing over, so I don't know.
I did not have that experience, and I still don't remember them.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
they did not hold a lot of power. They just didn't.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. The Mario movie, 1 for music, Minecraft movie 0.
But the Minecraft movie will pick back up with music.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It has 1 remix. I think the Minecraft remix that they do have, that kind of
That
made
was
me
very
feel
well
a little bit
done.
nostalgic. Yeah.
That was very well done.
Mhm. But I guess we might as well talk about the actual characters or the
Yeah,
characters
we were
now.
just talking about Jack Black,
And
so we
Jason
might as well
Momoa.
talk about Jack Black and Jason Momoa.
I think they get their mileage out of Jack Black with this film. I think they make him sing. I feel like if you hire Jack Black, you're basically getting a free song out of the deal, right?
More or less.
I would 100% guarantee that Jack Black probably wrote them songs himself. I'll
He
give him
wrote
50-50.
He wrote 1
that he was
confirmed
credited for.
credited song.
Okay. I think I can
The
work
rest
with it.
sound like Jack Black songs, but we
Mm.
only have 1 truly credited Jack Black song.
Okay, so I was half right. But honestly, I think it's kind of the big thing with I took away with this movie is it's like Jack Black almost like not really completely narrates it, but he's basically like the narrator of the movie, and the memes totally take that up to a notch. It is like flint and steel, chicken jockey.
Like,
This is a crafting table.
like, and a lot of that does lend to Jack Black's very, very enthusiastic performance, which is something that he's always been known for, regardless of his role.
I
He
bet-
goes all in all the time.
I bet the first mod for this game that's gonna come out is whenever you select something in your inventory, it's just gonna play Jack Black's voice of him saying something, and somebody's just gonna have this AI generator of Jack Black's voice. So it's gonna be like stone pickaxe,
Oak wood planks.
oak wood planks,
Like in the AI stuff.
and then specifically for crafting table, this is a
The
crafting
crafting
table.
I would love it if it was just that.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah. Like, or if
Just
it is
that.
just like you're like throwing an ender pearl and it's just
Ender Pearl.
Ender Pearl. Like stuff like that would be fun.
Yeah,
But regardless,
it's Jack Black.
it's Jack Black.
To be honest,
Jack Black as himself.
to be honest, I would rather have Jack Black play as Steve than damn near any other actor.
Sure.
And I feel weird saying that, but it's kind of true. His enthusiasm and his just energetic way of being very much does fit the fact that Steve will never sit down through his entire time playing the
Yeah.
game.
Mhm.
Like you can get close, of course,
Well, you can-
but
it's-
like you're always on the move. You're always doing something in Minecraft, and portraying that with an actor who has this kinetic energy about him, this always going forward mentality in a lot of his prior roles, fits really well. And honestly, I can't think of anybody else who would be like as fitting for the role of the energetic veteran as Steve would be.
I will
as
say
Jack Black.
one thing that is kind of funny about Jack Black is when he was doing the interviews for the Nintendo Directs for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, he made a clear point of "I'm growing out my mane," referring to
Yeah.
Bowser. But in retrospect, you can now see that it was for the Minecraft movie in particular.
They did make his head look like a box.
I did notice that
They did a surprisingly good job, like framing his hair to look more boxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect.
To be
But-
fair, Jack Black does also have a very square head. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Very square head and a very round body.
yeah.
They make that joke a lot in the movie too. They poke a lot of fat jokes at Jack Black's expense.
Well, a couple.
Yeah,
A couple of them. They mainly just made fun of
his physique. Yeah.
They made fun of the general human physique more than
Yeah.
they did Jack Black's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings up another question of actors with physique. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa was in this movie, man.
Yes, he was.
Definitely was in this movie.
Was in the movie.
He was Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison.
Exactly. Did he need to be there?
He was garbage.
He was the garbage man.
He was the garbage man.
Yeah.
It's a
Like-
question.
Nothing against like the acting chops or like the dude himself. He did what he needed to do in this movie. He's a fucking jerk.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
takes the actual main like title role in this movie.
Like,
Like he is top billing, first
you-
man in the credits.
if you look at the poster, he is front and center. Like, it's in a lot of the posters.
And
It
he
is-
absolutely does not deserve it. Like
Probably not.
His
like-
character is not...
He's a supporting character that is trying to be the lead character.
yeah, not even that. It's just like Steve should be the main man on the poster. You obviously are watching it because of
He
Jack Black as Steve.
He's
But it's
Steve.
He is Steve.
even in the context of the movie, it's just like, yeah, he plays second fiddle to whoever the guy in the red shirt is. Most forgettable little kid ever. What's his name? Henry?
Yeah, like in the film, his name's Henry. Yeah.
Henry.
Sebastian
Tiny
Hansen.
Timothy Chalamet.
Like, like, I do like I
First
like
kid.
him as the protagonist more than even Jack Black's Steve, just because he has this like very young perspective of creativity that is shown throughout the film pretty dang well.
He seems like a kid who would really like Minecraft, to be
He
completely
does.
honest.
A true
This-
Minecraft kid.
He is a Minecraft kid. Yeah.
He would have a YouTube account.
yeah, Sebastian Hansen, the actual actor, even though he hasn't done a whole lot.
Like, not much
I mean,
of anything at all.
I think he did quite well in the show, especially for a child actor. That's
Younger
always hit or
actor,
miss,
yeah.
child actors.
Mhm.
And I think he did well. I think he acted quite well. Some of the fight scenes are just inherently funny,
Yeah,
especially
we'll get
because
to
he's a
them.
child.
We'll get to them.
But it's overall, I think he did quite well.
I
For what
think
it's
it was
worth, yeah.
okay.
Yes. I don't know if I necessarily would have billed him the way that he is, which is the central character of the movie. He is what pushes the plot forward. But I do think he does truly do the work necessary to deserve the parts he does in the movie.
Kind of fits well in the plot. He's kind of the plot directive character. I wouldn't say main character, because I think that goes to Steve.
Yeah.
But he is definitely kind of the main character story arc that people kind of attach the most to.
Yep.
Yeah, he is the creative, like, aspect of the movie. Like, he's the one that whips out the potato, what's it called?
The tater tot
The
gun.
tater tot gun!
My-
made
Straight
me
from
hungry.
the Idaho mindset.
He
Yeah.
used a freaking 9-volt battery in that thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
I
is.
saw that in the trailer. I'm like, I looked at his crafting table, like, because I watched the trailers. Like, I say I watched the trailers twice, but remember, I was the one that edited my reactions for them, so I still had to watch them 100 times over. And I'm like, this kid is literally building with an eraser, a 9-volt battery, and a tater tot, a single tater tot.
Don't forget the single piece of wire.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
yeah. A single piece of wire.
Or
But yeah.
maybe it was a paper clip. I can't remember.
Yeah, he
One
just
of
straight up
those.
makes a freaking tater tot gun, and it works.
And it worked, and it's surprisingly accurate too, considering the like almost like trumpet like flayed.
I think it's flayed.
Yeah, flayed. Like how it just like opens out so far like a blunderbuss, but like as a pistol.
The splayed out front of that gun does make it very cartoony, very
Very
pretty.
fun.
And
I
it
thought-
does
but-
extremely push down on the central idea of creativity.
That is true. That is true. It just feels weird to see a small scale like blaster effectively be that accurate though.
Guns in Minecraft.
We
I
are
literally-
playing Minecraft.
When I
here.
saw him make it at first, I'm like, did he just craft a gun?
Like I would have expected that to work more like a shotgun,
That would-
especially if it's like using tater tots as ammunition. It's just like the little like,
a shell, and the
like, the little like chunks of potato fly out.
I would have
Come
loved
on.
That
I
would have
would've
been so much
loved-
better!
Oh no, that thing's a sniper rifle.
If you had a French fry shotgun, it would have been beautiful. Put whole
Whole
potato in the
potatoes?
front, shoots out fries in the
like,
front. It
that-
would have been.
That's actually pretty cool.
What we need to do is we need to make an entire potato arsenal of guns. We need to find like.
Oh, there's
this
a
is-
mod for that already.
100%. Having a potato cannon not just shoot a whole potato, though, was a bold move,
Yeah.
I would have to say. The focus on tater tots outside of, like, just normal potato was kind of strange, especially because potatoes are already in Minecraft.
Yeah.
And is a very readily available natural resource,
Especially in a village.
especially in a village.
I think that was just kind of them trying really hard to kind of work a joke across more than one scene.
That is
Yeah.
true. It was
Because there was like the tater tot breakfast pizza.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that looked kind of like a pie.
Yeah.
Made me hungry.
I don't
I'm
know
still
what
hungry.
kind of pizza that is. Like, how is that pizza? Is there sauce in
I'm
that?
betting that there was a pizza crust underneath that, but it was never mentioned or shown. So
Well,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
all you see is the tater tots on top, but I could easily see it
It-
being like
It's like a casserole.
It
Casserole.
literally was like a casserole or
Mhm.
just like a pie that was just absolutely covered all the way in tater tots.
yes.
Speaking
What, did,
of-
did it look better or worse than the lava chicken? What would you rather eat if you had one choice or the other?
Lava chicken.
Lava chicken.
10 out of 10
I don't know,
every
the,
time.
The tater tot pizza did look good.
I just have to disagree when it comes to, in comparison to the beautifully cooked, juicy chicken
That was a
Jason
slap.
Momoa was able to eat.
Okay, fair.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfectly
fair.
cooked chicken.
I can't deny that.
Mm.
Then again, I
Speaking
would
of-
eat almost anything.
Yes. Well, speaking of
This
food,
guy gets
though-
the breakfast pizza from Quick Trip.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, though, specifically the tater tot casserole, is his sister. And the one who actually made that tater tot casserole, and kind of the reason the plot goes a little weird in the human
A little
world.
bit.
Yeah. What's the actual implied age of her supposed to be?
She looks so young!
She looks
literally
like,
is.
she looks like a year older than her brother.
Yeah,
Maybe
literally.
2.
So it's
Maybe
implied
two.
that it's implied that Henry is like what, a freshman in high school.
14, 15.
Yeah, probably 14. So what does that make her? Like what, 15, 16?
Yeah, like she look like there are times where she looks a little younger than her brother. If I'm being brutally honest.
It's
Yeah.
Like
so...
it feels like she's implied to be like 17, 18 if she's able to get a job,
Own a house?
own a house.
She does own
Well,
a house.
she rents the house
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
money from the potato factory.
Well, it's probably actually one of the plot points is that their mother died.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably inherited from that.
That
and
is
she
true.
did say that they should move there as her final
wish.
So
Final wish.
there is that, but
Yeah.
she doesn't seem. She's younger than I am.
Yeah.
And it's very strange what they did with her. They gave her a job that's specifically centered around the idea that only a very, very young person would do this. She was the media person for a potato company.
Yeah.
It's not ever really shown that she has any, like, professional life. There's nothing there. She's very much also a stand-in for a child watching this.
Yeah.
She has a job that a kid thinking about a job might come up with.
Yes.
It's very
Like social
strange.
media manager
Yes, it
is such a like a kid would think of this.
I
as
want to
a
be
job.
a YouTuber.
It's as
Yeah.
a teenager trying to come up with a job they would like.
Yes.
It's very strange to have as a character because she acts as such a trying role model when in practice not fulfilling a role herself.
On top of that, having her try to be this social media manager for this company implies that she has like some kind of background with technology in general, or is at least familiar enough with how these metal bricks work. Glass bricks.
Glass.
Yes. I'm smart.
Glass is glass!
Yes. Like she has enough knowledge with technology that she can use it infinitely more effectively than the ancient board she was speaking with in that one scene.
Honestly, that's not a very high bar.
I know.
Yeah.
But it still feels like that was never capitalized on fully throughout the story.
Yeah, her entire arc I feel like is really weird. They tried to girl boss her up at the end, but
That is
she
true.
doesn't even swing the sword.
I don't
Like-
think they
Yeah.
bossed her up at the end. I think they had her acting as a fighter through the entire film, but they never set her up as a fighter
Before.
in the world
Yeah.
beforehand.
Again, like if they have posited her more as
hardened, trying to keep the family together.
And that's kind of what they're going for,
But they
with
didn't
her trying to
show
continually go after her brother after they split up.
Yes.
But
They just didn't show any of this intercharacterization outside of the mines.
yeah,
When her little brother yearned for the mines, she was not there at all. She was always playing catch up through the entire movie, which is just so strange. It's almost as if Jason Momoa took over as They made jokes about how Jason Momoa's fuck-up character played more of a role as the role model for this little kid than his own sister.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Not to like backpedal on what we talked about, but I feel like Jason Momoa was almost like he was practically casted to just be a buddy cop to
Steve.
actual Jack Black, Steve. So
yeah.
and
And it just so happened that they can make it work with, the one kid being like the MacGuffin holder until he wasn't, until he was.
yeah.
That was a whole subplot.
I feel like they kind of fit the vibe though, as kind of actors they kind of pulled off the street for this.
Yeah.
Almost like, obviously they do have actual, careers that happened before this, but yeah, it does scream, pull these kids off the street energy. We're gonna make a Minecraft movie. Want in or out?
That was honestly like what a lot of people got out of the first trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, and that also does bring up, though, because I don't know how much can really be said about the sister's character, but when it comes to actors that they did kind of pull, Danielle Brooks,
Yeah.
That was
honestly, I am very happy with her character. I thought she was just going to be a clown through the entire film. I was afraid she was going to just be a clown. And to be fair, she does do silly things. They do use her for physical comedy, such as the portal scene and the getting smashing directly into Jason Momoa, which was a beautiful scene. I personally laughed quite a lot.
Literally, it was just Luigi's side B misfire.
Oh,
IRL.
absolutely.
But having her, she seemed to act in the same way that Jason Momoa acted for her brother. Dawn acted as a guardian and kind of a guiding force for the sister.
Yeah, I guess they
And
did have that moment.
They did have that moment.
That did very much push her into a character that I did like. I do enjoy that she was used as a teaching force and a legitimately helpful person throughout the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't just have her as a comedic character. They did have her show off her care for those around her, as well as her immediate, her immediate ability to survive in these situations.
Like thinking on the fly was such a huge thing for the character as well. And they did use her penchant for caring for animals very well by the end.
Yeah.
Even if it was a little ham-fisted.
Oh, for sure.
But
the green screening again.
Oh yeah,
but
that
we can take that when we take that later.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're a little bit. I feel like some of their bits could have been cut out because this kind of goes into spoiler territory, but not really. Basically, their first objective is to okay, let's get a map. And they basically repivot from that as soon as that just doesn't work out. And it's just did that really even need to be in the movie? I feel like maybe if you had to, you could have shaved it off a little bit.
I do truly think that is another example. Maybe I'm just, grasping at straws here, but I feel like that's another example of a lost plot point.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a lost plot point.
But I feel like they managed to get it working again on the backswing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. Yes.
It was clumsy. It was clumsy.
I think a lot of this movie was clumsy.
True. But they managed to at least make everything kind of come together. At least with, what were the characters' names again? Dawn and the sister.
And some other
The sister.
third one.
Apparently her name's Natalie?
Natalie. I would have not been able to name...
Trash
I would have
Yes.
never been able to name her Natalie. Like, if you held a gun to my face and told me, name this character, I would have not been able to do that, man.
Yeah, but what can you do?
I think that does reach the...
Oh my god!
Who broke this? Why is this broken? My Wii gun is broken.
So sad. So sad.
So sad.
Wonder who did that.
Yeah.
Probably Grant.
Oh, that's
Probably.
true, honestly. But,
Regardless.
Regardless, I think that really brings to the end of everything you can speak about without ruining the story.
yeah, I think that's about what we can kind of do. I mean, do you guys got, like, any general points? Like, if you were to give, like, one more consensus, like, one more heave, like, just one, like, this is the movie, this is it, what would you say?
This is, I wouldn't say this is the movie, I would say this is a movie.
Yeah, it is a movie.
It is a family movie that successfully checks all the boxes of being a family movie.
To be quite honest, I would say that if you are a parent trying to look for a movie to bring your kids to, this is a movie that, at least from what I've seen, will keep your kid, and maybe even you, if you have the right audience, thoroughly entertained throughout. And I
Judging
think
it based on that scale, A+, S rank.
so.
it does its job perfectly. Keeps you, and especially your kid, thoroughly entertained, especially if your kid likes Minecraft.
Oh,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
say it'd keep us both entertained, but for the sake of the kids, yeah, they're definitely getting a hoot out of this.
Hashtag for the kids.
It is for the kids.
I don't know. I think it's truly dependent. I think your kid's going to have a beautiful time regardless, but I think
There is enough in it that, like, a lot of, like, the older crowd got a couple chuckles every so often. It wasn't super common, but especially, like, one of the subplots was like, what are we doing here?
I will say this about the movie. The movie is a lot funnier than the Mario movie per se, which wasn't that funny, but the laughs in the movie aren't, like, actually memorable. Like,
That
you
is
actually
true.
remember a single joke from the movie itself that you actually laughed at.
There's a lot of stuff that, like, you can, like, Leonardo DiCaprio point at TV
Oh,
about, and, like your local resident Minecraft kid is going to eat all of this up. But, like, as a movie on its own merits, it's okay. It's good. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it. It did its job.
Yep. I can't
does
really
its
say
job.
much more.
Best $9 I did not spend.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gran. Yes.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
I think that is a truly good synopsis. This does its job perfectly.
And really, in the grand scheme of things, it is just another solid marker of where video game movies are at in general, if you ask me.
I am so glad that we are getting kind of like a renaissance of like video game movies, because like I'm pretty sure everybody knows, if you're like within the gaming circle at least a little bit, you know about like the 90s Mario Brothers movie that was Blade Runner at home.
Yeah.
This is the second time that we're doing a review on my channel that we talk about this movie. We just bring it up.
It really is the movie of all time.
And the thing is, this one's,
Mario, and Luigi Mario.
the thing is, this one's less applicable because this is not even a Mario film.
No, we're just talking about it because like video game movies, like back in the day, like video game movie was like Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah.
Bad,
Why do you bring that up?
Dude.
bad, 0% interest.
If you
But, like-
remember the Doom movie.
Oh. And y'all are talking like we aren't getting another video game film by the end of this month.
What one?
Until Dawn.
Oh no!
I completely
Yeah.
had that slip my mind.
You know what? I am going to say it. Video game renaissance for movies is here, and let's hope that it doesn't immediately end a month later.
Just
I
wait
mean-
until we get the Among Us movie.
Oh.
Will there be?
Besides, there's still a good future.
There's an Among Us TV show.
What?
In development, yeah.
In development. Oh, I thought I had.
That's
It's being produced by the same guy who made Infinity Train.
Okay. That's big.
I'm extremely scared and also intrigued.
And besides, if anything, we have a very solid future for video game films as well. Sonic 4 is coming out.
Mario 2.
Mario 2, has that been confirmed?
It's practically confirmed in the post-credit screen, yeah.
And on top of all that, Nintendo fairly recently announced the Zelda film.
That's also true.
That's releasing within a week of Sonic 4, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
That's wild.
Oh, they really want my money.
Yes. So yeah, on top of that, I know Mortal Kombat 2, at least like a sequel to, I think, 2020's Mortal Kombat film, is releasing sometime in the next year. On top of all this, and again, Until Dawn actually looks like a pretty good concept, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, I'll say this. In my opinion, I think I'd rate this movie higher than Pixels at least. But I think I'd honestly still rank it lower than original Angry Birds. Probably.
That's an extremely tall bar to push over. I'm just gonna. I liked that
You
movie
think so?
quite a lot.
Fair enough, fair enough.
That did very well. That did Angry Birds very well. I think this movie hits Minecraft, but it's such a large topic that it can't ever have really truly captured all that Minecraft has to show.
Yeah.
Angry Birds, you can capture Angry Birds in a movie. You can't capture Minecraft.
Yeah.
In a series of films or like a TV show, maybe.
Even then.
You're kind of like not able to do the entire breadth of what Minecraft is in the span of its 15-year history.
I think the closest thing I have seen is the Mel Brooks Minecraft series.
Mm-hmm.
And even then,
Look at those books.
Those books were amazing. For a Minecraft written account by Mel Brooks. It's Mel Brooks.
By Mel Brooks.
By Mel Brooks. I think it was Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Same writer as World War Z. Yes. Amazing writer, did Minecraft very well.
Also, the audiobooks are narrated by Jack Black.
Yes!
That's
Jack
funny.
Black is
Actually-
intrinsically
Yes.
stuck with Minecraft. Jack
He
Black
is.
and Minecraft are one and the same.
Yes.
Such a creative little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
I think that says it.
Alright,
So
that
if-
does it for the spoiler-free section of this video.
So if you're really concerned about them spoilers, we got a solution
Leave
up
now.
here.
Warning, spoilers ahead, but you already know that.
You already know that. We're back. We're gonna actually let's just keep going. Let's get the ball rolling. We're
Yeah.
just gonna hop right into spoilers. Just gonna say it right now, fellas. They do not say, and I quote, "That guy is such a tool bag" in the movie. At least
0 out of 10.
At least as far as I'm aware, we did have some guys in front of us that made it impossible to hear. But as far as I'm aware, and I'm not seeing the movie again, so I'm never going to be able to know.
You're gonna
He'll
watch.
never know.
You're probably gonna watch it again in like 8 months.
As
and-
far as I'm aware, they do not say this guy is such a tool bag. They cut it.
Well, I mean, regardless of a quote being missing from like the early part of the film, there are a lot of cool details that this film had.
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
Are we good? Alright, sweet.
I'm just paranoid, and I get up and I always double check.
Yeah, there were a lot of cool details that this film had. Like right out the gate, literally like after the opening logos, you have Jack Black doing a little too much narration.
Yeah.
A little too much.
A little too much.
I was like, I heard it was explaining for the parents what a Minecraft was,
And for
but
the,
I'm like, what the? Shut the fuck up, dude.
But one thing I really did like is right at the beginning you see like the modern like world world loading and generating screen. Like they didn't need to do that kind of detail, but it was like honestly something that caught me by surprise.
I
It was
liked
cute.
that,
It was
yeah.
nice.
I think it cements it immediately into that Minecraft vibe. Even
Oh,
though it isn't
absolutely.
shown until much later, having it where it's immediately like, and here's a Minecraft story. You can tell because loading screen. You know, it's pretty good.
And
Yeah.
like the zoom in to like actually show the world of yeah, that was fun.
The world of Idaho.
Yeah. True. I mean, honestly, I'll say this. In terms of, like, the beginning of the movie, you really don't see that much of the Minecraft world. Sure, you do get the little narration section with Jack Black. But after that, it takes a while to actually kick back into the Minecraft reality.
Yeah.
But
So,
that's
yeah.
just exposition setup
It
and
is
whatnot.
a lot
Yeah.
of exposition. Some
Explaining how
kids
the
are going to be
characters
like,
are.
where's the Minecraft in my Minecraft movie?
And
But
to be fair, I think it is very much needed have that little bit of exposition beforehand. They don't have the setup. If you've ever seen this old show, it was Dungeons and Dragons. It was old, like 80s, maybe like 90s animated.
Late 80s, yeah.
Late 80s, yeah. They had a very quick start to everything. And I'm gonna be honest, like, even though they kept with the whole everyone wants to get back home, you really need that setup so that the characters can be driven forward. In this case here, they had that whole driving world behind them. You know, they had the reasons to go back. Personally, I don't think that the reasons were all that good, given the fact that they're all poor renters who have absolutely nothing going on back in the real world.
Yeah,
But,
realistically, everyone like that came from the real world would have been perfectly fine just staying within the overworld.
Yeah, realistically.
I mean, Natalie doesn't have a job anymore. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Little guy.
Natalie, you messed up your one job.
Yeah, sorry, Natalie. I blew up the one building that employs people.
You blew up the mascot on
mascot.
top of the building.
Oh yeah.
Through sheer coincidence on how that jetpack just flew across the sky.
It's a cutthroat world in Idaho.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Without that mascot, they have nothing.
They got nothing, man.
They've got nothing. It's sad.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that generally that setup and that pre-Minecraft part does cement how they do have lives that they want to get back to, and they might not want to abandon that. I don't know why, but they might not want to abandon that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like in the movie they want to get back to the real world, not because their life is better. It's just they're like, Minecraft, this place is a terrible place to be. I don't want to be in zombie land. That's kind of the whole kind of vibe that they have at the beginning of the movie.
I don't want to get beaten to death.
Yeah, it's just like the realization of, I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to live Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when Steve first came into the world in his dirt hut, he talked about his first night.
Yeah, Steve
And
loved it.
he was curled up in a ball in the corner of his house as the
right.
zombies were actively trying to beat his windows in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of wherewithal, a lot of mental wherewithal to actually keep yourself wanting to be there when that was your first experience, was, zombie land.
Yeah, zombies.
I don't know.
But regardless, there was a lot of coincidences that just carried the plot forward throughout the entire runtime, really.
Yeah.
Like, again, the coincidence of the kid's jetpack angling just right to knock the mascot off of the top of the factory, which lost the girl the job.
Spoiler, or not, we're on the spoiler section obviously, but how did he not realize that those kids literally just came up behind his jetpack and were like, hey, snip?
Well, I mean, it's a
What
single
the-
wire being cut at one single point right
Bro,
before the
I would
launch.
be
He's, surrounded by
hovering.
everybody.
I would be hovering over my project.
Well, yeah, but he's a funny little guy. who
He's a
needs
funny
plot
little guy.
relevance.
Casually
Yes.
builds a rocket ship. I'm gonna go over here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was never said that he's actually thinking through what he's doing. He's
He's
smart, but he's not actually
He's so impulsive with how he went about it that he didn't think to double check every single thing.
Well, it's not that. I was just saying, how did he not notice that the guys even went over there and snipped snipped his cord in
everyone
the
was
first
standing
place?
around him.
That's
when
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
doing stuff. I mean,
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
it's also the first time he's trying to show off to people, and he's surrounded by his teachers and all those people. It's conceivable that he would do that.
His vice principal for some
His
reason.
vice principal and his gym / art teacher.
Yes.
Who hates art.
And isn't that also the ex-husband of the
Yes.
vice principal?
Yes.
Small town things, by the way.
I guess. Small town in Idaho. You just know everybody.
It's your boss, too.
And you only
That
have one
must
job.
be a
So
horrible,
don't get your mascot
horrible
killed.
situation.
God, that... Ooh.
Yeah.
But still, that... And... Where am I going with this? The fact that coincidentally, all of Steve's stuff ended up in that one storage locker that's somehow Jason Momoa was told about. He managed to find specifically the 2 items he needed, brought them to his shop, The boy came into that shop, picked up the 2 items, went boom, and the rest of the plot started like
immediately.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, to be
get
fair,
it.
he did give him pretty clear instructions what not to do in this procedure.
and still did it anyway.
And to be fair, second time, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
It also
James
said
Bond
on the
also.
other side,
If you're a
especially
struggling
if you're a struggling business owner, don't do it because
There's so
not
much treasure
there's so
here.
much treasure here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that specifically in that case, him buying a storage lot in that case is not out of the ordinary at all, and things being moved into a storage lot, although that's a little bit off, aren't really all that out of the
So
ordinary.
I wouldn't say that was really a gigantic coincidence because, like, think of it, you know, Steve locked himself away in the overworld. His house, he got evicted out of his house. All of his stuff was moved into a storage locker. The storage locker was being sold a la Storage Wars, and the dude who is really deep on his luck because he's getting evicted from his own store, which he probably also lives in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Lives in, and he's like, gets a tip that, hey, the storage locker has a box for like
In Atari.
An
And
Atari Cosmos, which
Mhm.
is that a real thing?
I think it was one of those things where it was like it was supposed to be, but
I'll look it up
they
right now.
died first.
I mean, knowing Atari.
They're addicted to failure.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a reference.
but he gets a tip that like, hey, there's this really valuable rare thing in this shed, and he wants to buy it to flip it so he has enough money to keep living at his video game store.
Yeah. It
So I
makes
mean,
sense.
that even though I would say that it would probably it falls more in the realm of believability than it just being, oh well, that happened just for the movie. I could like see that happening to me if I'm being
it's
frankly
far more
honest.
likely to happen than the rocket.
Mhm.
That is true.
And just so we're clear, according to our beautiful new Overlord AI overview, the Atari Cosmos was an unreleased handheld tabletop electronics game system that Atari incorporated development, but it basically never released. So it's a huge collector's item. I don't know why he has it in that regard then, but
the funny.
Well, he
Yeah.
is Steve.
I guess.
Yeah, true.
Also, the console
He's
is probably
Steve.
somewhere else in that storage zone.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been the funny. That would have been the funny twist of the film.
But
Yeah.
he throws an absolute shit fit and loses a friend who was very disappointed at the fact that he was trashing a storage unit.
The one that he effectively just purchased.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
And
quickest
I also
dollar
told the
cinema.
guy, you can't cash this for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't cash this for 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about the guy.
I found this cube.
Yeah.
Wow, and then he shoves it all into his car, and then his car fucking breaks down. So he's shoving
That's wild.
Steve's turtlenecks into
I didn't even notice that.
the hood to try.
Oh, I didn't even see
I didn't
that.
even
Is that
realize
real?
He was whipping it around.
Yeah, he
That's
was whipping
funny.
it around as our other titular main characters drive past
And
him.
they're
Like,
like, "What is that?"
Get a load of this guy.
Yeah. Having a mental breakdown on the side of the road with his actual breakdown.
Every
Yes.
day in Idaho.
Now
Yeah.
you said that they're titular, so does that mean their names are Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Minecraft, and the,
Yes.
and movie, and
And
movie.
Jason Mimosa.
Jason Momoa,
Yeah.
Minecraft himself.
Yeah,
Give him the lead.
he is John Minecraft.
Oh man.
He's only first because his contract says he must.
Okay.
That's true.
I will say this, credit where credit is due, and I think it's because I think we saw this so far in advance. I think the overworld I kind of got used to. Like, I think we've just seen it to this point that it's like literally, as soon as we saw Minecraft, I wasn't even like grossed out by it. I wasn't like, oh, this is awesome. It was just like, oh, this is reality now. This is what this movie just is.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it looks bad or anything. It's just...
Because I remember when the trailer first came out,
Everyone was dogging.
nitpicking it, being like, "Those aren't my cubes."
You know what? Honestly, I'm just gonna say this now. I never got the hate for the art style. I never did. It looks. hyper realistic. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I
Of
think
course it does. It's a
Yeah.
live action movie. What, you wanted them to be experiencing the world exclusively in meter by meter cubes?
Yes.
The most boring way to build. You know how boring the set would be if it was pure to Minecraft?
That is extremely fair.
Extremely boring. You can't even make a thin wall in the game. Much less... They're human sized. It's 2 meters up to be able to make a normal building. You know how small those kids would be?
you know, actually, I thought they
And how
did-
big the baby zombies would be? They would tackle you like nothing.
I thought
Implying
that
they didn't
oh,
tackle Jason Momoa like it was nothing.
Well, yeah, but instead of like a small dog, it's the size of like a 10-year-old.
Of all the positives I think I would give the movie, I think they actually did do a good job with the actual spacing of the world. I feel like they still stuck to the grid for the most part. Obviously, they took a bit of creative freedom with like the actual designs of some of the blocks, obviously.
And a lot of the
But-
details as well.
I still do feel like, in terms of like the actual world itself, it looks believable until the characters are actually moving in it.
Yeah.
It feels like a Minecraft
It's a
medieval mod. It
Yeah.
feels like some of the like building mods I used to use. Like it's all these little details and all these fun little, eccentricities around. But yeah, the second these people actually step around it, it does get a little bit stranger. I wouldn't say it looks bad though. I think it's just things get a little strange.
Okay, I think the overworld looks okay, but one place where it will absolutely dock the movie, that Nether legitimately was like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Like, literally, I saw the Nether and I'm like, is this it? This is the Nether in the movie? It literally, all you have to do is watch the trailer, and that is literally it. Like,
is
it's just
true.
black, and there's some lava coming from the ceiling.
That is the Nether though.
I mean,
That is just the Nether though.
Like that is classic, Nether generation as it is. But if you ask me, it feels like it's just trying to emphasize this idea of the Nether has been stripped almost completely of all of its resources to the point of it just being a complete desolate wasteland outside of the fortress where a lot of the piglins reside.
yeah.
Which is a stark contrast to the overworld being this, beautiful, bountiful place. Full of all the resources you could ever dream of.
Yeah, it's a little too dark and a little too full of pigs for me, you know?
You have something against pigs?
I mean, if that's the only thing in the entire world, then yeah.
Hey, they got ghasts.
They do have
There are
gas.
ghasts.
There
The
are some
ghasts! Oh my god, the ghasts are beautiful.
Yeah, the gas do look pretty good in this movie. Yeah.
They look pretty damn good.
Yeah. Oh god. I loved the whole setup they had, the creativity that they were using those materials for in the game. Because they specifically, at least with like the way that they set up like all of these structures, by and large you can tell that they're made of things that are in Minecraft. You got the chain, you got the planks, you got the everything.
Yeah.
I guess that does also bring about the question of the crafting within the movie, though.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I got
very
this.
yeah, it was very creative. And
Very creative.
A little too creative sometimes.
honestly, I actually really liked the crafting that they had in it. Even the Jason Momoa bucket chucks was
Bad.
kind of weird. I don't know about it because there was no bucket shape with the crafting recipe.
I remember
Like,
watching
literally, he was like
Yeah.
smuggling iron ingots in like his
Yeah.
shirt, and he just went bam,
What
bam.
the garbage man was able to do with in a cave with a box of scraps.
Yes.
I mean, like the kid makes his tater tot cannon, and that's honestly it's just creative. I really like that. Again, that expresses that like you're just learning the crafting recipes type time, where you just like throw things at the wall.
You're messing
That-
around, and sometimes it works.
It's so nice, especially because he's a designer in the real world. He had made these things that worked, and there were an engineering marvel in the real world. So having it where he's able to take this world where crafting and designing becomes so simple, and he's able to make something just with like pocket lint is able to make this beautiful object, I think really actually is like one of the big highlights of his character.
Oh, absolutely it is.
It's just, I don't know. I thought that the crafting scenes generally were very impressive. Steve being so well versed in Minecraft's crafting, and the little guy who I've forgotten the name of all of a sudden,
Henry.
Boy, yeah, and Boy, who was able to make this this
sniper
extra
rifle.
Minecraft situation.
The sniper rifle that uses tater tots.
Yeah, tater tots. Where do you think that the little eraser goes? Because he uses an eraser, a battery. Apparently it's battery powered, by the way.
I could see the eraser being like some kind of like propulsion system.
I guess.
Maybe.
What else is it gonna be?
Maybe it's like slime.
When I
Maybe.
first saw it, like I legit thought he just crafted a gun and not.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made a gun. It didn't kill the piglins. That would have been funny if he
Oh,
was just
yeah.
killing them pork chops all across the town. That would
That
have
would have been.
because we've
insane.
seen piglins just getting killed,
I thought that
just straight up stabbing children.
Yes.
It was
there was a lot of child stabbing in this
there was
movie.
a lot of child murder within this entire movie. It's true.
It is true.
It's true. Don't discount it. A lot of piglin children were murdered making this film.
More than I don't think anyone expected.
I think more child piglins were killed in the overworld scenes, except for the end. The end
The
fight.
ending is
but
its
like
own
all
thing.
the rest, they were using those kids,
Yeah.
just throwing them, giving them explosives,
Literally.
just
Yeah,
tossing
just-
them at people. They were using them like little cannon fodder.
They are
They
literally.
so good.
They are the cannon fodder enemies. I guess they just like
They're just children.
they had a
It's
world.
just children.
They had a world full of nothing but pigs, and they put that to use.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have nothing
absolutely.
but manpower.
Well, big power, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild. Honestly, I can't think of just the amount of death that was shown in this movie.
Honestly.
Oh my god. Because they're shown to be intelligent people. You know, they're shown to be people.
Yeah.
Then the
And
next
like-
scene, you're watching just a kid just get stabbed for drawing
a
drawing
nice
a little
house.
a little house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like even the mobs in the overworld, like at night, the fact that you were consistently seeing spider jockeys
Yeah.
in that first night.
Also, can I just say how ridiculous the spawn rates are for those enemies? He spawns in the world and there's like 7 pink sheep. That's like a 1% chance
Each.
It's completely unrealistic.
And then you get to the freaking spider jockey chase scene. Creepy spiders, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like arachnophobic, by the way.
They're the only times they show up in the movie, though.
Thankfully. But like, oh.
But spider warning. 8
I was-
eyes, 8 eggs.
Yeah, I was hoping for the. I was hoping for a moment where the sun comes out and the spiders are just left in the
That
day
would've been
docile, like they're
I think
about
it's
to
like-
attack, and then
They're just
the
like-
jockey burns, and so the spider's just there,
What's up?
Like he just looks around a bit and just scuttles away.
just goes away because it's
It's daytime
it's
now.
peaceful now.
That
Yeah,
would
it's
have been
daytime.
funny, actually.
I would have. I was
That would've
waiting
been
for that,
fun.
but it never happened. And honestly, I wish it had. Like a
Yeah.
spider jockey crawling up the side of the wall, and all of a sudden it burns, and we're fine.
Yeah.
That would have been great. I would have loved that,
Mhm.
but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Got to save it for
But-
the sequel.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
regardless.
Oh, regardless of that. There's also pivoting from our previous topic there. It's kind of the driving force of the movie was glowy orb that's a cube.
Orb.
Orb, as if they're not
Orb.
showing more circular objects in the other parts. They made the
Ender pearl.
ender pearls circular. They
Circular.
made or as circular as ender pearl items
Spherical.
are. Spherical, yeah. They made them spherical, and then they make the orb, and it's just a cube. Like there are more spherical objects in the movie. They hold them in each hand, and this is the orb, and this is the
The earth crystal or whatever.
yeah, the crystal, and this is the other bits, and it's just, I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, they
definitely
kind of
funny.
do. What is the correct term? Lampshade it?
Lamp.
Yeah,
They do make
Because-
fun of it.
Because they're like, you got the orb, and it's like that's obviously a
Yeah.
cube,
They,
dude.
they do
Yeah.
lampoon it a lot. Yeah, they just kind of hit it over and over. They're just like, yeah, it's a cube. It's just, I don't know. I mean, like, experience orbs in Minecraft are just circles.
You know
like,
what it actually
there's
reminds
a lot
me
of
of?
those.
I know that I'm kind of breaking you, but it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of like a beacon for Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that was like at one point considered, but like, yeah, I don't know.
It does work as a beacon.
Yeah.
In the final
That's
scene,
true.
It was a
actually.
beacon.
It was a beacon.
it's
Wow.
not a beacon, but it is a beacon.
Yes.
It probably was a beacon at
Your
one point.
genius
Probably.
is immense.
They just
Thanks.
decided to
Yeah.
run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just it felt kind of, it was kind of funny that they had the orb cube, but items are orbs.
It's the
Yeah.
Jumanji MacGuffin that you kind of need for a Jumanji movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. This was Jumanji.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, yeah, it really was.
I don't know. Oh God.
We completely skipped over the point that was also from the beginning of the movie. What the dog doing?
What the dog doing?
doing?
Yeah, literally.
Oh God.
You're
yeah.
telling me that friggin' Minecraft Steve was able to say, hey, doggy, go out into the real world where I presumably live and you've never seen before. Go into my house. I don't know how. I never had a dog to begin with, so you're just gonna have to break in somehow and then put the freaking nether beacon thing, whatever, in it.
Yeah.
And then just come back, I guess, and vibe. I don't know what your plan
Very
is.
smart dog.
Yes.
Very
Smart dog.
Except for the point where, like, when the orb was tossed under the bed, it separated, thus closing the portal back.
Oh, dumb dog.
Yes.
What a stupid idiot.
Horrible thing.
He's doing his best, man.
What is
Yeah.
a dog? What's the dog doing?
He might
His
have
best.
Google Maps baked inside of him for some reason.
Well,
but
remember,
man,
he rubbed it all over himself.
he don't
to
got
get the
opposable
scent.
thumbs.
He got the scent of him,
That is
so
true.
he could get his house.
But that's like,
And then he also told him the address of his house.
Yeah, the
so
address, which is very funny.
That
That
is
is
in
true.
case he loses the scent,
That
he
is
just
true.
follow the road.
And thank goodness he had a doggy door on his front door.
Yeah, okay, I
Oh,
guess
wow.
he had a doggy door. But
What, did that show up in the...
I don't
Like
know.
it showed
Like,
showed
in the
the
intro
wolf.
it did.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in the post credit scene. We'll get to the post credit.
We'll get to it.
But like threw it under the bed, title sequence, whatever, present day. Can we also talk about the length of time between the dog exiting the overworld, being in the real world,
Yeah.
and somehow nobody noticing? Cube dog.
Yeah, literally. There's just this
Cube
cubic
wolf.
dog roaming the streets.
Well, not a
It's
dog,
not
a
just,
wolf.
it's a wolf.
It's a wolf!
That is a gray wolf-sized dog. That is a gigantic animal.
In Idaho. I don't know if there's any wolves in Idaho,
There
but...
were.
Yeah.
There
At one
are.
point, I think a lot of them got killed.
If there are
They're
caves in
damaged.
Idaho, there can be wolves in Idaho.
That's fair. It's just
The notorious cave
gigantic
wolf.
animal.
Yes.
Yeah. That does bring up the question, how
Like-
long was Steve gone from the real world
It
to
had to
have
be
all of
months.
his stuff sold?
Literally, it could have
But-
only been months.
But the thing is that his stuff wasn't sold at the time. So he had been there for only a little while, just to then have his dog come in, put the thing in there, and then run off into the woods, presumably, and
Yeah.
wait for some chosen few to open the portal again,
Yeah.
so that it can run back to his master.
Well, I mean, with the note that Steve left with the orb, with the cube,
yeah, with the orb.
he, if any reasonable person, which nobody in any movie is reasonable, Steve's entire plan was that he would just be locked up in the Nether for like the rest of his life,
yeah.
and nobody would ever come back to the overworld.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, please, for the love of God, never open this portal again to keep this world safe. Untouched, but safe.
I mean, it's not all that untouched. He is saving all the villagers. So
True.
it's a situation where he's kind of sacrificing his life in
the
exchange to keep the overworld safe. which
And
is
by extension, Earth.
Earth. I don't think he cared about Earth.
Not
But
too
I think he
much.
cared a lot about the overworld.
I guess he really cared about them villagers, man.
Yeah.
He made some pretty
mean,
weird statues of them in the beginning of the game. That's
That
a
is
pretty...
true.
To be fair, I've built the same statues, and I also care for the villagers now that I've seen them. They're just such little guys. They're such good little guys.
Speaking of which,
Just a
not
little
even
guy.
it's not even just one dog that leaves the Nether. once the thing is reassembled, anybody can just leave Minecraft and enter the real world?
Point in case the one villager that does.
There's just
Yeah.
there's a villager that
And
does.
immediately makes an
Real life
extremely
Squidwards.
immediately experiences like the full breadth of like human interaction by being hit by a car and then immediately married.
A Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Jeep Grand
Specifically
Cherokee.
a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yes.
I guess.
which was did Stellantis sponsor this?
They must have.
Probably.
Probably.
They must have. You don't mention a car unless
Yeah.
you're getting sponsored by it.
Like
Yes, but I'm sponsoring this movie to say that
You got hit
that
by
a
the car.
Squidward
Yeah.
was rammed by my tank of an SUV. Which, let me tell you, that Jeep Grand Cherokee that hit the villager was undamaged.
Yep.
Because there's a Jeep Grand Cherokee right over there in our driveway that slammed a deer broadside. And the only damage was the license plate got bent a little.
Wow. Literal
Yeah, it's
tanks.
built Jeep tough. Yeah, it's
that's how the phrase goes.
yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'm honestly shocked that villager survived at all.
Remember the wacky,
He's got
wacky
20 hearts.
physics.
Yeah, he does have 20 hearts. That is true. How many hearts would a Jeep Grand Cherokee do in Minecraft?
Luckily, less than at least, or at
At
most 19.
most 19.
At
Yeah.
most 19 hearts.
Oh man, God. What are the lore implications for the Jeep Grand Cherokee?
What are the
What
lore
do you think the
implications of
crafting-
any of this?
What do you think the crafting recipe is?
What is the crafting recipe of the Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Well, I
That's
mean,
a good question.
Logically, you would need to somehow craft at least 2 tires, multiple reinforced plates and an engine.
Watch as
Yeah.
it's just literally a minecart and 2 pieces of iron.
two pieces of black wool and a minecart.
Two
Yes.
pieces of wool.
Like all good cars.
Like all good cars.
And then a name tag for the license plate.
Yes.
Yeah, but what are the lore implications for all
You
the
just
stuff
feel like
we've
one
seen?
redstone in there.
One
Yeah.
redstone. A redstone repeater.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's repeated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And at least one redstone torch. Or maybe a lever?
a lever.
A lever, yeah.
How many blocks wide is this crafting table, man?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Because I
I'm
mean,
not
my
crafting
cart
it.
in the center.
And
you
to
got
be fair,
two
you don't
pieces of
need,
wool.
as shown in the
Name
show,
tag,
name
with the
tag,
bucket
levers.
chucks.
Yeah.
That still fits.
As shown in the bucket chucks, you don't need to craft on the crafting table.
That's
you just have
true.
to craft
That-
with
In
the
this
crafting
world.
table.
Jason Mimosa was just able to
Yeah.
drop a bunch of iron on the table and go, oh,
So the
bam!
question
Yeah.
is, I guess, consistently, what are the lore implications of the Minecraft movie? You don't have to craft on the crafting table. It's just a guideline.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, like Netherwart will cure these zombies, or at least stop them from zombifying.
That is true. That
The
is.
gas can be hooked
Is
up with
that-
chain.
Is that a legitimate mechanic in the
I
game?
haven't been able to find it.
I don't think it
so.
is.
I don't think.
But thinking this over the last indescribable amount of time, part of me thinks that it's related to the awkward potion, the first potion you make in the brewing process.
Oh.
The reason why it would not affect the player is because, well, if its effect is resisting sunlight, well, as a player, as a person, you naturally resist sunlight and don't zombify as another native.
That's
I
actually
guess,
kind
but
of
the
peak.
question is, in Minecraft mechanics, being in sunlight does not turn them undead. Existing within the overworld turns them undead.
Oh,
It is
okay.
not an anti-sunlight at all.
It's just
it is
anti-overworld.
Anti-overworld.
Okay, that's.
Which might explain when the Netherwart was taking over the ground within the overworld. It may just be
The
That-
influence of the nether.
the influence
Yeah.
of the Nether expanding and the anti-overworld properties of the Netherwart thus expanding across the overworld in turn.
Maybe.
The strange
I don't know.
implications of lore and
The
this,
strange implications of awkward potions.
in this
Yes.
stinking
Yes.
Minecraft movie,
But
man.
there's also the question, within the items that we see in the movie, Minecraft Dungeons items are shown front and center. Those
Yeah.
boots of swiftness are a common drop Minecraft dungeon item.
Those are real.
Those are real.
I
Yes,
thought
that's
those
a Minecraft
were
Dungeons
made
thing.
up for
Yeah.
this
It's
movie.
not made up at all. Completely factual.
Clearly, I'm the most Minecraft-esque veteran here, apparently.
I had to look it up after the movie.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I guarantee you probably clear for the most hours in 360 edition.
Yeah,
That's true.
that is true.
But we do know that with those boots, the Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft the movie, as well as Minecraft Survival, survival generally, are all connected together. In this movie, it is considered that all of this is happening in the same world. Realistically, Steve has gone to these places, gotten these drops, gotten this stuff.
Yeah.
It is a far more built up, far more civilizationally developed Minecraft world. The pillagers have a bridge leading to their location.
Yeah.
The villagers are actually in a village that it doesn't look like it was randomly generated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they
is
have-
true.
They have windmills.
I say that in my first actual trailer reaction. I'm like, this is the most realistic village. Where are the paths that lead absolutely nowhere, and where are the half-finished houses?
Yeah, where are the houses phased into the wall?
Like,
Yeah.
you just have like the one house on the cliffside.
Yeah.
Oh, it's there, but still has some paved grass.
Yes,
up there.
exactly.
Thumbs up, yeah.
Again, this is a far more civilizationally developed Minecraft world, and as shown in Minecraft Dungeons, the world is developed.
Yeah.
Cities exist. People are there. They exist within this world in Minecraft Dungeons. And so to have that together brings up the question of this isn't really our Minecraft.
Maybe
You
it's a little bit more
It's
well
our
made.
craft.
Maybe it's a little bit more well made because Nintendo apparently made the game according
Oh,
to
yeah.
Google AI.
Apparently, Google AI.
Nintendo locked in, fellas.
Thanks, Gemini.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's a very interesting implication for the world that they have there. That is a far more developed, far more full world. This isn't Steve alone with villagers who ram their head into walls whenever their pathing gets confused. This is Steve existing within a civilization and a world where he is a far more able to exert his will on the world far more than he is in real life. This is effectively someone being handed the keys of minor creation to a world where they are far more powerful than the average denizen. It's very interesting from that point.
You do see him create an entire theme park in
That
the
is true.
introduction sequence.
With a moving Ferris wheel, mind you.
Oh, they had.
I don't even know what mods he's
They
running
had
with.
Ferris wheels. They had moving windmills.
Yeah, I think that shows
Floating
up in Minecraft
blocks.
Dungeons that
Yeah.
they have moving stuff. So this is more evidence that Minecraft Dungeons
Is a-
should be in base Minecraft because I want my windmills, Mojang.
Mojang
God.
just needs to make the game.
Yeah,
They
Terraria.
just
Terraria.
need to make Terraria, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, just aside from some of the more glaring situations like the moving windmills, a lot of the base Minecraft logic is expressed pretty damn well.
It's funny, actually.
Yeah.
So it is very strange.
I think that's like the best jokes of the actual movies when it actually like plays into the fact that it's Minecraft logic. So it's like when they open a chest, it's like it's literally smoking hot and ready meat that's just sitting in there.
Or just absolutely full of.
Like already cooked, still like hot and fresh meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of
all
wish
right.
that the kid didn't have to pull the chest out to open it because
Yeah.
we all know you can just open a
it.
chest.
Yeah.
But it just faces it through the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, open it up and just pushes everything else out of the way.
Yes. But like one of the best examples of this like realized vision of what am I saying? Application of the mechanics of Minecraft was the entire lava chicken sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could feasibly create something very similar to that in Minecraft.
I
I
still
think
don't
during
know.
setup we spent like an entire 40 minutes theorizing, like
At least
how that mob farm would work.
On and off, yeah. I'm sure I've made something almost exactly the same, at least with that lava cooking.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done the trapdoors, making sure there's enough space for the items not to burn. I've done that.
Yeah.
They did their research on
Like, it
Minecraft
is insane.
Redstone creations. And
Yeah.
little
So what I'm thinking is, yeah, literally the chicken stands on the trapdoor, which is not a whole block tall, which means the lava doesn't pass completely through it, but the item still drops onto the
Yes.
trapdoor and then literally through the hopper, and then there you go. You got
Yes.
your Minecraft movie
And you
chicken.
must also remember that because it is just a portion of the block, the chicken is forced to be within the lava's cube.
Yeah.
That is an actual Minecraft farm
Yeah.
that actually works, that actually cooks your chicken. It just so happens that now it's been confirmed that it's perfectly cooked chicken.
Yeah.
Mind
Yeah.
you, the most beautiful chicken I've seen.
It
in a
is
while.
probably the best
Amazing
looking
roast chicken.
I've ever
Honestly,
seen.
I love that, especially because you can just pull the entire leg off, and it doesn't like just pull the bone out. That happens to
No.
me all the time. I try and pull like a chicken leg off, or like a rotisserie chicken. It's just the bone.
The glaze on the chicken in the movie.
It looks
honestly,
so
though,
good.
I want
Yeah.
it. That's
What is that glazed with? They do have honey in
It's
the
just- I
in
guess it's
game,
just-
but I think that's just how it works.
That's just the chicken sweat.
I just know I don't want to think about
I don't
that.
want to think
one.
about that.
Yes, that's actually the feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's they did a very good job. It's like I
Yeah.
hate to compare it to Studio Ghibli, but like it makes me
Oh my
actually want to
God.
eat. It
Dude,
makes me want to eat Minecraft
Yeah.
food. I
Fair
am going
enough.
to hit with the studio.
But like, even outside of the lava chicken sequence, there's a lot of like pretty solid use of redstone and other similar Minecraft mechanics.
Yeah.
We'll talk about like the big scene where you see it happen a little later here, but overall, I think they handled redstone pretty well. The redstone itself is just depicted very, very slow.
It's funny how slow it is depicted. Like, you would not be able to run Microsoft EXP in Minecraft.
Oh, absolutely
With
not.
your freaking custom computer.
I think it's.
Set the
I think they
blame.
Yeah.
took more inspiration from gunpowder rather than redstone. Like,
Yeah,
the
it's like a
speed
very
and the look
slow-
of it.
It's like a very slow circuit in this one.
Which is fun because gunpowder was supposed to be redstone in the earliest versions.
Oh, really?
That's how it was supposed to be, at least from what I remember. It was supposed to be you lead gunpowder to locations, and it'd be a one-use redstone.
Oh, that's why it makes sense for freaking TNT to light with it.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's what it was. So for them to model it off of gunpowder's lighting is a very fun feature. I don't know if that was meant to be at all, but it's a fun nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, they did so well with that.
Oh, yeah.
With that Minecraft mechanics most of the time.
Most of the time,
I don't
yeah.
know about the Elytra scene.
The Elytras, no,
The Elytra
And
scene.
the Elytra air
That-
chase sequence?
that came out of nowhere, let's be completely
Honestly,
I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
they should have probably cut that out of the movie in terms of like sheer
No.
consistency.
I don't
For
think so.
consistency,
Okay, yeah, for
maybe.
I mean, like, maybe
Can
consistency.
I just say that for the record, for like the lore of this movie to work, Steve had to have had to like go to the end, which by the way means that he needs to get like 12 ender pearls to light up that, you know, the ender fortress, which by the way he, for the record, only has one ender pearl in the entire movie. That's the only one that he's ever earned. So he's only
Well,
killed
the
them.
one he had the box at the time.
So I guess maybe he bought it from a villager, I don't know.
Well,
But-
it's implied that he got it from fighting an Enderman.
He
I mean,
said
did-
he
said
got
he
it from
did.
fighting
Oh, yeah,
an
fair
Enderman.
enough.
He had to
Regardless-
kill an Enderman for it.
He had to go to the end and slay the Ender Dragon and at least secure not only 2 but 3 Elytras, because he says that he thought he brought a 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has 3, probably more. I would have killed to see a scene of Jack Black in misfitting Minecraft armor fighting the Ender Dragon.
Honestly.
This guy who single-handedly slain the Ender Dragon, presumably with his dog, I guess, who also didn't fight or didn't die in the battle. That's
Least
the
realistic
real
part of this entire
That's the
show.
real victory, actually keeping the dog alive during the Ender Dragon
Keeping
fight.
any of the dogs alive through the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
The second they fought anything, half the dogs would have
Yeah.
exploded. It's not even funny.
Single-handedly beats the Ender Dragon, though, but absolutely loses it to a few pigs in the Nether.
They're scary.
I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, there's a lot of pigs.
Yeah.
There's only one Ender
It's a
Dragon.
huge horde.
I don't know. It is quite.
Who would win in a fight? One Ender Dragon or 500? piglins.
Well, given the piglins we see in the movie, the piglins easily.
Yeah.
Piglins easily.
It really depends on how much of their arsenal they have access to. But that's aside from the point.
Well, I mean, you could fit a ghast into the end.
They do
They
have
could probably
crossbows.
bring
Could
all
you?
of their stuff. Yeah, I mean, like the size of a ghast. The second you get anything into the portal, it'll transport it, at least in game. How does it work in the setting? Because those
The thing is,
nether portals work.
the thing is,
instant.
the portal between
You had to
Earth
walk.
and the overworld, and between the overworld and the nether were instantaneous.
Yes.
You just
So-
needed to keep moving.
Yeah.
While in game, the portal between the overworld and the nether, you
It'll
have to
drop,
stand in
yeah.
place, wait for you to transport.
Or you're in, unless you're in a minecart, in which case it's instant.
Also, can we talk about the sheer sequence break? Because literally, he never steps foot into the Nether until the beginning of the movie, which he gets captured. So he literally somehow had to sequence break getting into the end to actually defeat the Ender Dragon, get the Electras, prep that for the second half of the movie, and then enter the end to actually get himself caught and cause the movie to happen.
I'm gonna check something right now because I never checked and I feel kind of silly for not doing it. I need to see if in Minecraft dungeons the Elytra was an item you can obtain.
I guess
Because
that's true.
if you can obtain it within those dungeons, if the civilizations have Elytra in the overworld or in the Nether, maybe that could be an explanation.
You know what I
Possible.
noticed? What mob didn't come up at all in the Minecraft movie? Those freaking terrible ones that come at night and just screw you over.
Phantoms.
Yeah, luckily nobody, despite nobody sleeping in a bed the entire movie, there were
No.
no phantoms.
Some folks did sleep in beds.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, that's
The
right.
child.
But
Yeah.
did they have
The
enough
child.
Did they have enough beds for everybody to
Well, you
sleep
just
at
have
once?
to touch it, and at which point, like,
It
you just
resets
need,
the timer.
you just need,
Oh,
you just
okay.
need the time to pass.
So everybody needs a bed. So hopefully Jason Momoa was able to find one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'll be
Or
fine.
he's just going to get affected by
Oh,
the,
yeah.
little fly guys.
I
Those
guess.
little
Phantoms, yeah.
evil little creatures.
I like how everybody
Mob
just
folk.
turns them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't believe that that's I don't
It's
know.
one of the most annoying mechanics they've added
Yeah.
because it just adds a timer to the early game.
Yeah, literally.
Because, like, what if you just get a bad spawn and you're stuck dead middle in a desert? No sheep all around.
Can we just talk about the spawn in this movie?
Oh, yeah, like, the initial spawn is
That's wild.
immaculate.
It's like somebody's got to find this seed in Minecraft and actually share it around so I don't spawn in like the middle of a freaking ocean for the 4th time in a row.
God. Absolutely. Like, that spawn is absolutely perfect.
You got bees throughout the gate, you got like a close by village. Dude, Dream would have loved this seed, man.
Shut the fuck up. Gotta take my normal pills.
He wouldn't have liked it though because they didn't have any blazes.
Yeah.
True. That is very true.
But he had tons of piglins for bartering.
Mm.
Yeah, assuming they were capable of bartering.
They would. I think you could convince them to barter. I mean, they're just people.
Also, I hate to say this as well, but the entirety of this movie could have been completely avoided if Steve brought golden boots to the Nether.
It's entirely true.
The entire movie would have been completely subverted if he was just wearing one piece of gold.
Yeah.
And he has a full suit of gold
He has
in
a
his
full
armory.
Yeah.
He learned about it later, I guess.
He didn't.
Well,
even...
no, he didn't bring it because he only got out during the movie.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
had it, he just didn't bring it
He did
And he
not
didn't
bring
think
it,
to wear it when first entering the Nether.
because he never had experienced it before.
but he
was
sure
choosing that
did
for his dog.
experience the end.
He never experienced the end.
Somehow.
I guess he
just
fought-
checked.
I guess he fought the Ender Dragon without armory too.
Yeah. Well, he had diamonds.
Yeah, diamond.
Yes.
He had
a lot
diamonds.
of
He had a lot of diamonds, and a single what looked to be enchanted helmet that he never uses, and
Yeah.
is never touched on in the entire show.
Yeah.
He had a turtle hat, so that implies that he's a turtle farmer.
That is true.
I've never done that a single time in
It's
Minecraft.
hard to get their scoop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I just checked. Minecraft Dungeons only has the Elytra in the end DLC, so he would still have
He
had
spent
to go.
money?
He would have to. What is it, like a paywall where you hit like a Dark Souls style fog, and it's like, give me more money, and I'll let you into the next biome.
Steve Ballmer shows up. Developers.
Steve
don't
loved
know.
Developers.
I just
think he must have gone to the end at some point.
His soul transcended reality and bought the DLC for Minecraft.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess it's
He made a deal with
possible
God.
that because it's Minecraft Dungeons, I don't know if your character actually opens the portal in Minecraft Dungeons. I think it's open.
Just like
So
naturally.
Naturally. I think it's within an active region or like a dilapidated place. It's open. So I think it's possible he could have done the end and sequence break broken without the nether. But then you have no potions.
You have
and
no
that
potions.
sucks.
Because,
Yes.
the potions are literally hard blocks to the nether because you need blaze powder, and that's
Yeah.
exclusive to the nether. So
That is true. Though there are those villagers that used to trade with things. There's the wandering traders. So
Well-
you could have purchased from. There's a wandering trader in the village.
I think
Yeah.
you get like a select pool of like stuff from them. You get like
It's
slime blocks and stuff.
No,
That's how
the
they would-
slime blocks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
That would
we
be how they
are.
got 'em.
Never see slimes. Get the
We
slime
do
blocks.
never
get the
see
trainers.
slimes in the movie. Binky was spared from the production of this film. For
No
better or
animals
worse.
were hurt in the making of those films. Just a lot of human pig.
Oh, of course, but like, no. I mean the chicken.
Oh, chicken.
The chicken definitely got hurt.
And all those gas.
All of the pigs in the nether got screwed
all those
hard.
hoglins.
Yeah.
All the spiders.
I mean, let's be real. The main cast should have died like 3 times
that
over.
one, that one sheep that got ripped apart by the zombies.
I was
in the
gonna
first
say
scene.
that was
Oh my
like
God,
that
that
was
was
a gruesome
horrifying.
scene.
Just watch
That I was like, the
sheep
kids
get
are not
ripped
gonna.
apart. Some
Literally,
Romero's.
like-
This is like Dawn of the Dead style stuff. Where
Yeah.
they're just like reaching in. I mean, they're just pulling the wool off.
That
of it,
was-
but it was still.
That was literally
horrifying.
nightmare fuel.
It's
Like
crying
literally
and
just
everything. It was
literally
awful.
screaming in pain.
Almost
I
as
guess
bad
I would
as all
be
those
too.
children that got murdered.
But anyway, going back a few steps here, the entire like Elytra flight sequence honestly was actually really cool.
Okay,
It was
okay.
amazing.
It was really well done.
The being chased by the gassed, like those gas chariots, effectively, like hot air balloons.
I forgot, were they playing a song during this
They
montage?
were.
They were, but I,
don't
can't
remember
remember what
what it
it was.
It was some like mid-tier license track, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Running in the 90s. No.
Honestly, though, I think that was the highlight of the entire movie.
Yeah, one of the best action sequences.
One of the best.
And Noah over here being like, yeah, they could have done
They
it.
could have cut it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
don't know.
could have cut it if they wanted this movie to
It
be
would've-
mid.
Yes.
It would have absolutely, like, okay, this whole debacle that we're talking about, you need to kill the Ender Dragon in order to get these items that he's just like, yeah, I got 3 of them!
I mean, to be fair, once you get one Elytra, you get more.
Yeah, true.
It's just a matter of time at that point.
Yeah, the fact that I think my biggest gripe is that they were somehow able to, from a certain drop, get higher at the end.
Well, they did have some
There was-
fireworks.
there was-
One of them had
but-
fireworks, and they didn't know how to control it, and they actively nearly died.
Yeah.
But
The
that
other
did
one,
lead
Jason
to,
Momoa did not have fireworks.
at least that we saw.
He had Jack Black, though.
He did have Jack Black
Yeah, Jack
sitting on
Black
his back.
Ratatouille
Jack
at him.
Yeah.
Like, what was that about?
Yeah, I don't know. It was clearly, that was there just to
The-
get the 2 leads
The
together.
inherent
Yep.
homoeroticism of that scene is honestly amazing.
Oh,
I loved it
so
so
true.
much. Okay, the fact that they just doing the single, like, flying through the 1 block hole at that
Yes.
speed achievement.
That is an actual
And-
achievement in the game.
Yes, and having it where the statement that they say is that we can only do this if we go and have a man sandwich.
Man
At which point they
sandwich.
flip around and have Jack Black's head between Jason Momoa's legs.
Yes.
Through the entire scene, having his head squozed by Jason Momoa, as stated earlier when he said he would crush Steve's head with his cheeks.
Yes.
It occurs in the
is.
movie, and I just have to say I do very much appreciate the inherent homoeroticism that they had between Jason Momoa and Jack.
Yes, absolutely.
Truly good. Truly a good scene to have in this PG-9 Minecraft movie.
It was worth the
Yes.
price of admission just for that.
It was worth $9 that I did pay because I was
Because you were late.
late. Yes.
Yeah.
That was worth the $9 alone. Was the Jason Momoa and Jack Black.
The cuddle up, I
The
guess.
cuddle.
The
cuddle.
man
man
sandwich.
sandwich.
The man sandwich was truly peak cinema.
And again, that entire like chase sequence ending with a reference to Bucket Clutch
Yes.
is
Okay.
frankly insane that they would go out of their way to reference such a thing.
I mean, I
Not
think
only
it's
that,
iconic.
but that it became the secondary explanation for a character surviving
off
Yes.
screen,
off screen,
nonetheless, but-
just being that he got thrown off and bucket clutched.
Which implies that he, well, I guess he did have a bucket because of the bucket chucks, but
He
I
had
mean,
the
like,
bucket chucks.
Yeah, the
yeah,
bucket
two
chucks.
bucket chucks,
Always
yeah, two
considered
shots
as
to make it.
2 chances, yeah.
Yes.
And you
And-
can throw them.
But the thing is, alternatively, wasn't that bridge like above a river or something?
Don't think about
That's
it
true,
too
yeah.
much.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Fair
I don't
enough.
know if
It
it was
could've-
ever
it
shown to
could've-
be over a river. It was
It
just a
could have
bridge.
just been a ditch.
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was just shown as a bridge. I don't think it ever showed
No.
what was at the
I
bottom.
could have sworn they had angles where you could
Oh,
see down.
Yeah,
I
where
mean,
the,
let's be real,
the
if he
TNT
was-
suicide bombers
Yeah.
were showing up. Those children they
Yes.
had
I was
with
gonna say,
full box of TNT.
There's
If he
child
was going to die in
piglins.
that screen, he wasn't going to die because of the fall. He would have died because of the explosions
Yes.
to his face.
Honestly, that should have killed him.
Yes.
I was waiting for the moment when Jason Momoa was gonna fly through the air. I thought he was gonna get caught up there.
Like,
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah, just launched because you get hit with TNT in the right way and you just get launched.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna get flown through the air.
No.
Yeah, I do truly have to state and just restate well and truly the combat within the Elytra scene was the best in the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was the most fast-paced, the most well choreographed,
Very
the
kinetic.
extremely kinetic through the entirety of it, and the amount of Transformers-style gigantic explosions that were happening every time a ghast would die.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am probably going to get a data pack so ghast explode when they die because that was amazing.
Well, they do drop gunpowder on getting killed, so that is...
Do they?
Yeah.
I thought they only dropped gas tears.
Gas tears and gunpowder.
Is that a newer thing?
No, old school.
No, that's not old school. at
Old
all.
school.
I am
We got
sure
this.
that's not old school.
I guarantee it. I bet $15.
Alright.
Here we go. The easiest $15 I'll make.
What the hell?
There we go!
Ghasts can drop 0 to 2 pieces of gunpowder
15
As of what
bucks.
version?
with loading. I never agreed to this.
As
I
of
never,
which version?
The OG! When they were introduced.
Okay, so Java Edition 0.31. Added gunpowder. Gunpowder's crafted. Okay, so
Basically, when gunpowder
okay.
existed.
No,
okay.
no, that's just talking about gunpowder. Then there's creepers, dungeon chests, added ghasts which drop gunpowder upon death.
There we go.
The
Always
second
best.
they were, I cannot remember them ever dropping gunpowder for my entire time. I've been playing it for a decade.
Yep.
I'm so.
Clearly, you
Why?
have not farmed
What are the
yourself
odds?
a gas
What are the chances
farm.
then? What are the chances?
Let me check that again.
It's way easier to get gunpowder than tears. I'll give you that. I'll tell you
It
that.
is. Okay. Okay, so upon death, they just drop 0 to 2.
Yeah.
It's just 0 to 2 gunpowder every time on death.
That is insane.
I've never had them drop gunpowder.
That's
I've never
alright.
seen it
Never
happen.
had it.
Never had a.
Never.
You never had a gas farm. That's for sure.
I know I've never had a ghast farm.
Yeah.
I've just hunted them free range,
Yes.
like anyone should.
And
Those
also,
beasts
probably the
deserve-
gas tiers would probably be easier to make out compared to gunpowder in the nether.
That
Yeah,
is
that's true.
true.
That is
They
true.
are far easier to see.
But I've never seen gunpowder enter my inventory during my time in the
You've just
Nether.
never noticed.
You must have already had gunpowder in your
And
inventory.
it just
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even
It just
then.
popped into
It
your
just
back
clutters up,
inventory.
and then you never.
Or you
think
always
to get
had
rid of it.
a full item list. Or full hot bar. Yeah.
But even then, you'd think you'd notice that it filled up in your
See,
inventory.
the thing is that
But
every time you go into the nether, you're likely going to loot nether chests, and they have gunpowder. So that might be where you just think you got it from loot.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
God, it looks so stupid.
I feel like the
Anyway.
drops of enemies are inconsistent with this movie as a whole,
Well, yeah.
Pretty much the only drop that you actually get from enemies in this game is bones, which
Yeah.
they actually use to the plot. To be fair, but like
And the pork chops from all those
the
big-
pork chops,
The
pork chops.
piglins! They don't drop. Piglins don't drop pork chops in base game. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they
That's
drop rotten
Hoglin.
flesh.
Hoglin drop drop pork chops.
Yeah.
I know this to be true because I've actually farmed hoglin.
Yeah.
And while there are a few hoglins that do end up dying in the film,
There's a lot of holograms, let's be real.
There's a lot of piglins that just get stabbed, and on the end of their sword is a pork chop.
yes.
Which brings up a lot of questions about what the piglins are eating in the nether. Because I think they talked about, like, how they specifically stated that the villagers are vegetarian.
Yeah,
Seems
the
to put
villagers
in
are-
comparison to something else. Are the hoglins specifically carnivorous? And if
Oh,
so,
God.
there's just
Oh,
hoglins
God.
and piglins that are shown in the show, other than the gas, to
Yes.
explode when they die.
Yeah.
Mm.
But, like, in theory, I mean, they already use...
They
hoglins.
ate all the blazes.
Yeah.
They ate every single blaze in the
Spicy.
nether.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would also like to point out the inherent animal cruelty within Jason Momoa's scene with the gas, where he had piloted it in the end scene, where he just had Henry stab it over and
Yeah.
over to get it
Stab it in the tentacles.
stabbing it in the
Specifically,
tentacles,
yes.
and then saying not to talk about how he
How he
figured
figured
out
it out.
about why he was touching that gas's tentacle.
Fuck it out.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's true.
God.
No, it's just I don't know. That scene, the weightiness of every death of the ghasts, specifically the one where they had the baby who was shot into its mouth,
Yep.
where it slammed
It's-
into the side of the wall and scraped across before exploding.
Floating.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
that is so visceral.
It was an extremely brutal fight scene. With the amount of deaths that we see, the amount of deaths we see in this movie is
I think
immense.
as long as the CGI, like the CGI creatures are interacting with the CGI, the other CGI creatures, I think the movie looks really good. It's as soon as when you combine the CGI and the
And the
people,
humans,
it
yeah.
looks like they are fighting a green screen battle.
Oh, absolutely.
Except for Jason Statham's, or just Statham.
Wrong person.
Wrong Jason.
Wrong person.
Yeah, when Samosa ended up fighting that baby zombie jockey, that was very weighty.
You thought that was real?
Well, not that it was real, but, like, there was a lot of impact.
Yeah,
Jason
proper
really
impact
sold it.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody
They
was
had
actually
proper
punching him on
impact.
set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone was
Probably.
actually beating him to death. in
Probably a
that
man
movie.
covered in
Good.
green.
Yeah, but like, not only was that entire manor situation, that spoke a lot about the society that the pillagers have, given the fact that they're so brutal. We
Yeah.
saw the villagers in village are very peaceful. They're peaceful. They're pacifists.
Yeah.
The pillagers in their manor, not only are they hosting a fighting ring with anyone who's unlucky enough to be caught,
Yep.
Which is
Not-
canon, by the way.
which
It
is
is
canon
canon.
We
because they
figured
are
that out.
actual buildings in the manors that are just a cage for fighting in. It's
Yep.
a cage match. Not only is that in here, not only are they raiders, as shown with the fact that they have a loot room, but also the fact, I'd like to point this out here, they have cooked meat in chests. Villagers are vegetarian, the pillagers are not. Specifically stated, villagers are vegetarian and pillagers had a chest full of cooked meat.
Yeah.
So it's a cultural thing about whether they're vegetarian and pacifist, or not pacifist at all and not vegetarian in the slightest.
Well, they did also have wheat.
They did.
To debunk your
So-
entire theory, sorry.
I'm not saying they're carnivores. Thank you very much. I'm saying the piglins are carnivores.
Okay.
I'm saying that the villagers are omnivorous like other humans.
It's
and
just that the villagers are explicitly
pacifistic.
pacifistic vegetarians, while theoretically
The
the pillagers lean more into that, like, omnivorous side.
They seem to be far more scavengers than they are farmers. We do see farms in their place, so they're far more just outcast warrior villagers rather than.
That are trying to just live their own lives. as
Well,
it
they
were.
also practice dark magic, and as shown in the film, I don't know if this is a Minecraft Realms thing, but there's
You
an
mean
Enderman.
Dungeons.
Dungeons,
Dungeons.
God.
Mhm.
Minecraft
Not their
Dungeons.
fuck ass subscription service.
Exactly. in the I don't know if it's a Minecraft Dungeons thing, but the pillagers are shown to employ or at least work with an Enderman who guards their loot. So that brings up a question of the pillagers worship. They practice dark magics. They fight anyone who gets close. They host blood sport, and they work with the Endermen, who in the movie, as pointed out by some of y'all, have such an eldritch bend. You had talks about that. What were you thinking about the eldritch, like staring into their eyes and kind of be showing your worst fears?
I mean, I get the concept behind it, like what they want to do. That was cool. It's as soon as the fight scene started, that was when an absolute CGI, not CGI, but like a green screen abomination. The kid was literally just lightsabering all over the place, and they just basically had to keep moving the Enderman where he was like sending his shots. Like, also, by the way, this is the same kid who encounters his Enderman, looks him straight in the eyes, and he wins the fight. He wins the fight with a freaking hatchet, nonetheless.
Yep.
It's
On
diamond.
It's
Diamond, though. Yeah.
He put away a diamond sword, though.
Also, very
You get the option
convenient to
between a
come
diamond
across
sword
the
and
one
axe.
room that has everything to
Well,
get
he is
like
in the
stacked.
room.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
the loot.
He didn't get stacked at all. What do you mean stacked?
He
He
got-
left with like 2 things.
He got
into a loot room. He got
He got
the MacGuffin,
The
and he
MacGuffin.
got an axe and
And-
like nothing else.
and
Did he
the
not
Ender
grab the
Oh,
apple?
and Ender Pearl.
I thought he grabbed
and
the
one
apple.
Ender
one
Pearl.
Ender Pearl.
He didn't even grab. He looked at
The
a golden
golden apple.
and didn't take it.
Yeah.
He's a carnivore.
He is a Henry is a carnivore.
Okay. But regardless,
But I will say this,
Because
since
he
we are
tots though.
since we are talking about the green screens, I'll say one cute little thing, not cute, but like one like when making of the movie thing I noticed none of the characters were wearing bright green. And that was obviously intentional.
Well,
because
of
the
course,
visuals-
because that's how fucking green screen works.
Yeah, but I mean,
and you
like,
couldn't exactly
you could
do
use blue
blue
screen. A lot of
because
the time,
Steve.
that is true because blue screens
had
are
to
used
be
a lot
green
in like
screen.
modern media.
yeah,
So it has
Yeah.
to have been green screen.
It's just chroma key something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Delete this color, please, because
Yeah.
Disney found out the perfect way how to do it with halogen lights back in the day. Didn't write down how they did it, and now nobody knows how to do it anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now I'm mad at Disney more.
Yeah, because how do you think Barry Moppins was made back in the day?
Barry
Yeah.
Moppins. I guess I never
Oh my
think of
God.
that.
Did you think
I
it
never
was
thought
just
about
like
They found out the perfect way how to put animation on top of real life with ancient technology, and they didn't write down how they did it
Mm-hmm. That's fun.
because it was with a special prism, and they light the set with specific lights that go at a specific wavelength, and the prism bended the light in a specific way that went to different cameras that did different things with masks and putting drawings on top. Yeah.
That's the real
Damn.
magic in real life.
yes.
Honestly, that's the real Disney magic, and like all true magic, it was lost at some point before today.
Yeah.
That's depressing. Now I'm sad.
I need concrete. Best I can do is some rocks.
But going back a half step, the connection between the
Don't
pillagers
quote me on that.
the connection between the pillagers and the Endermen, there's definitely some weird stuff going on between them. And part of me wonders if Steve happened to get some elytra from a different woodland mansion.
He does seem to know the setup of the mansions by heart.
It's almost like there was supposed to be an actual guy who sold them in a village who couldn't do his job for the part of the movie he was in it.
I mean,
It
be
is
that
almost
as
as
it
if
may.
there's a guy who sells maps to them or something, yeah.
Also,
Be that
can
as
we,
it may.
also, can I just point out that the whole side quest arc of the girls was to get the map and find the hidden mansion, and they neither got the map nor found the hidden mansion.
They got close. They got close.
They got close
They
until
found
they
his dog.
found.
They found the dog,
They did find the dog.
which brought them close.
The dog doing? That's a good question. Also, can I just say that when the dog gets tamed, he gets the collar, and when he leaves the Nether, he loses his collar, and then they use that as leverage against Notch. Not Notch at all. They use that as leverage against Steve to go get the dog, or basically they use it as ransom for him to like bring back the beacon or whatever that he was supposed to get.
The orb.
But it's so funny because
Obstruction,
if you think
whatever
about it,
it
you
was.
could just get infinite whatchamacallit?
Infinite collars.
collars because you just got to keep feeding the dog bones, and then she
That brings up the
generating
question
colors.
of she kind of retamed the wolf,
Yeah.
and that brings up the question of the reason why the dog went with them. Was it that technically Steve isn't the owner?
I suppose that's a good point.
yeah.
By Minecraft logic, that should never happen.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
by fun movie logic,
The
it
wolf
works perfect.
untamed because it lost the collar, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still listened to.
But it was still loyal enough to Steve to know to track him down.
Yeah. Or just to go back to.
but
the
also like he's never like bathed in like. I'm pretty sure you could go to the fucking. What are those strange structures at like floating point air coordinates?
the Farland.
Yeah,
Farland.
he probably that wolf could probably sniff him out from the far land.
Well, given the
Farland.
fact that he was stuck in a jail cell for however many months with in a place where water evaporates the second it touches anything,
Yeah.
he has not taken a shower
That is
in
true.
months.
Although
if not year.
he has done a few clutch water bucket jumps.
I think he did that beforehand.
Yeah.
No, it was after.
Yeah, it was
the
after.
Nether.
Well, I mean,
But
like,
still,
I don't think a couple clutch water buckets are gonna get that level of
that is
horrific.
true.
I mean, like, it's the Nether. That has to be like that's like summer in Tampa style heat.
No.
Do not even think about. I don't even want to think about that.
No.
But you also have to consider that the dog and Steve were together for like how long between the time of Steve coming to the overworld and getting captured by the pig.
They had a whole amusement park.
For a long time.
Yeah, so you can imagine that the dog would be
Loyal.
excessively loyal, excessively familiar with the scent. Thus, you can kind of just be like, okay, yeah, the dog would be able to track if he was that familiar with his former
To
master.
be fair, he did also kind of. The dog wasn't immediately just going right back to him. It was in the middle of the woods, just assaulting random travelers.
I
So
mean,
think-
if you want an extreme coinky dink, I think
Yeah,
that's one of them.
That is the one of the most extreme coincidences in
Oh,
the film.
fucking! What was the name of the dog? Dennis. Or something?
Dennis!
You
Yeah,
can't
Dennis.
forget Dennis.
Wow, this one of the many wolves that can forever spawn. Good thing he didn't fucking despawn. He lost his name tag.
Yeah.
But the
That
thing
would
is,
be a hilarious ending.
I'm
to Dennis
sorry.
is about to run forward and despawn.
Despawn.
Let me tell
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry. We forgot to put a name tag on your boyfriend and he despawned.
Yeah. Also, no. Let me tell you a hilarious ending.
Wait,
So-
do villagers despawn? I don't
No,
think villagers
villagers don't.
despawn. I think they just stay.
But let me tell you a hilarious alternate ending though. So the kid Henry looks into the Enderman's eyes. Enderman just wipes the floor with them. Death message appears on the bottom screen.
Oh, yeah, the
Henry
fucking death
just
message!
freaking died.
Henry has been killed whilst fighting Enderman. Come in with like 30 human characters and watch like Lost style as they get taken out.
Everybody sees on the bottom screen the chat message. Henry's dead.
Henry is fucking dead.
You're like, go Henry, you got this mission, and then just Henry gets slapped.
And the thing is that his sister would see that.
His
Yeah.
sister,
Yes.
his sister is like, oh no, I have to protect my little brother. I'm his caretaker. Henry has died.
Die.
and then dies as well.
Just dies as well. Everyone's dead.
But that leads to there was no jokes about respawning at all in this film.
Honestly, it's a lost piece.
Yeah.
I think that's something that should have been in there. They take a nap at some point
I
because
feel
the
like-
night is scary.
I feel like that would have lost a lot of like suspense in the film. The little suspense it had going for it.
I think it would have been very funny if they all got killed in like a final big sacrifice and then just ripped up. Because
Well,
it turns
okay.
out, yeah, respawning's just a thing.
that would have
And
been a little
they,
bit
Steve just
justified.
forgot
Like,
to
they
mention that
rest
there were
on
no
the-
stakes
that was
whatsoever.
Or maybe Steve hasn't died yet.
It's also
Yeah,
possible.
he's
He is
hardcore.
Jack Black. He's amazing.
Yes.
Mhm.
But
His
because-
sneak attacks are legendary.
Yeah.
Because I could realistically see, like, oh, hey, I got word that, you know, the piglins are about to come in tomorrow. Let's just sleep through the night, make sure we're all rested for this final fight. They do, like, the big fight, the big sacrifice, they die. Snap back the next day, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been, like, such a hilarious way, even if it would feel a little anticlimactic.
Hunger Games style cannon goes off in the background, big like letters on the top. Henry is dead.
Henry's dead.
That would have been. Oh god, he gets knocked off knocked off of the big tower while he was trying to grab the beacon.
Yeah.
Lands, dies on the ground. He is dead. Back in the mushroom house.
Realistically, either way, he would have died from fall damage, whether he fell on the ground or on the actual gas platform. He would have still died.
That's true.
Yeah, unless he landed on. I wish he had landed on top of the gas.
Or
Because that
conveniently
could've been
Squish, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was like, even,
Scripsy. Yeah.
even if it would be very volatile landing like that, considering the excessive combustibility of a gas in this film, it would still be a way to go about it that would be marginally more safe upon impact.
Nah, you needed Jason Momoa to catch him. That's the
Yeah.
one thing he
Yeah.
does in this movie.
That is the one
That is
redeeming
the one
quality of
redeeming
Jason
quality.
Momoa in the entire film.
That is.
Oh, that is true.
By the way, he just kind of, when they're in the mines, by the way, which I think we completely glazed over the mine.
We did,
mine
yeah, we
section.
did.
We did.
This is probably my second, biggest problem with the movie. The whole mine sequence has to be, the most anticlimactic thing, I think.
But you also have to realize these are mines that Steve would be relatively familiar with.
That's
These are
true.
mines that he's gotten through a decent amount of clearing out. And again, as he states in the film, he set up booby traps to protect his stash of diamonds.
That part I'm fine
Why
with.
did he leave his diamonds there? Who leaves their diamonds in their mine?
That's
Hell if
another
I
problem
know.
with it. That's
It's
the problem.
there for a
Piles
joke.
and piles of diamonds. He
It's
had
there
They
for
have
the
a
joke.
lot of diamonds.
I mean, yeah.
Mm.
The fact that Jason Momoa, I nearly called him Jason Statham again. The fact that Jason Momoa had 3 diamonds that he put in his pockets that also never show up.
That
later.
never shows up in the movie again. They could have,
That's probably
framed
how
it.
they paid for his eviction notice. Is the 3 diamonds
The
he stuck in
3
his
diamonds specifically.
And we also kind of glazed over the plot points, kind of leading us to this very stupid conflict, mid-movie
Yeah.
conflict of
He could have.
Active
ooh,
betrayal.
they got sucked into the game because the orb. Jason Mimosa's a freaking moron, and the Earth Crystal gets hit by an arrow, shatters. Ay! That's why they have to go to the Woodland
I
Mansion
don't
in
think
the
that was
first
his
place.
fault. Let's be honest.
It was
here.
his fault.
Kind of.
Was it his fault? How was it his fault, really? He's holding it, and then arrows that are flying his direction anyway still hit it.
Well, it might actually been the child's fault because he was the one who dropped it while he was building his sick tower out of wood logs, by the way.
Stupid
But
idiot child.
yes.
But on the other side, Jason Momoa didn't need to stand still for multiple seconds holding the thing like this.
Well,
The
he is
cube!
shown-
Only
he is
for
shown to
the
be a stupid
crystal to
self.
shatter, and then he's just holding this and it drops.
By the way, can I just say, I think we finally found something worse than stormtroopers in terms of shots. Those skeletons in the movie were awful. They literally shot once and they blew themselves all up.
Oh, yeah.
God,
They literally just killed themselves.
Skeletons in the actual game are scarily accurate.
snipers.
but
They're
Apple-
snipers.
But only after 1.9.
Mm.
Only after the combat
Oh,
update.
yeah,
Yeah.
but let's be honest here. Piglins exist. This is
Yeah.
after the combat update.
Well
by a
after that.
significant margin. I think the worst example of all of this is not when they are moving around. It's not when they are fighting. It is when Jason Momoa is sitting in a barrel and is being shot at by the skeletons
Yes.
and they miss every
Every
shot for
single
a minute.
Shot.
Yep.
He's standing still and they can't hit him at all.
Yeah.
He literally stares as a secret door as he mines through to that secret tunnel.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And they just
still
can't hit
happens
him.
to
There's
get
like
to.
7 skeletons shooting at him.
I
And he's
lo-
like 10 feet away and they can't hit him at all.
I mean, have you tried aiming down with a bow? It's not easy.
Yeah, but
I do love
hit
how one of
things
them
still.
falls into the pit and just instantly dies of fall
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Well,
So good.
to be fair, Jason Momoa did hit every single branch on the way down.
He did approach it in the safest way possible from a Minecraft's perspective.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
bouncing off the walls.
Bouncing every 2 blocks, not taking any fall damage.
Yeah, he
Even
took
if
all
it
that. It
definitely
was
should've
really
looked like
emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
But no, the actual part that I think either needed a rewrite or the scene needed to be like recontextualized entirely was when they get in the minecarts and they take an accidental right to surprise Steve's surprise freaking creeper farm. Which one? Do you really need a creeper farm in Minecraft?
Yeah, if you want a lot of rockets.
Yeah.
Maybe.
To
But
use
again,
the
how?
Electra.
As long as you're farming gas, I don't think that should be a problem.
You've
But
never
anyway-
been to the Nether.
I have. Oh well, he hasn't. But
There is a lot of. Just go with it at that point.
But no,
Also, how
the actual-
shittily of a creeper farm do you need to
Yeah,
have it release everything?
So I guess the lore that they kind of imply in the movie is that the creepers, which by the way do look kind of cool,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think their designs are alright for being
mossy
these giant
vibe.
moss monsters. They kind of play into that with the like hollowness of them. I think that looks good. But like the lore that you kind of have to accept is these creepers are like not necessarily hostile unless if you punch them first. And that's what kind of activates them. It like, because otherwise it's just this giant room of creepers that are basically implied to be like slowly moving at the protagonists. But like, if you're approaching it with like actual Minecraft logic, these guys, they're moving at like the slowest possible rate.
Oh,
as they
absolutely.
possibly
One
can. They're
tick
literally
speed
props in
looking.
a room.
I will say though, it is more so specifically they do not explode unless provoked.
Yeah.
During that sequence where they're trying to push the minecart away, you can tell they're trying to be very hush, very careful around the creepers because they don't want to be like too loud or something to scare them, thus causing them to start to explode.
There is also the fact that as the big piglin, is
big
coming
hog.
towards them, they just keep punching the
Like
creepers.
knocking them away,
Yeah.
triggering them to
Well,
explode.
yeah, to try and get them to explode. Mind you, I also very much love the whole all the creepers chain reaction, blow the entire
Entire
cave up,
mountainside, it's
knock the entire
Peak.
mountainside off.
Not realistic in
Peak
Minecraft though.
cinema. Well,
absolute cinema.
absolute cinema. Truly, well and truly.
But,
Sure.
like, otherwise, like I can understand that scene is, in retrospect, not quite as tense when you realize.
Yeah, it's not tense. It's not as tense as what it should be. It's like they're surrounded by creepers, and they're like, just gonna
It's
move closer
really-
to you because it's obviously they're all moving closer toward them, but it's like there's no urgency. You obviously they're safe the entire time. It's like
The
they're just gonna
urgency
go.
is the giant hog that's slowly approaching them.
Yeah.
By slowly, I mean like at a actually solid pace, realistically
Slowly in
speaking.
comparison to the
friggin' creepers.
breakneck minecart travel they were doing
Mm-hmm.
before,
Yeah.
which is honestly also generally the speed that you travel in minecarts.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, like I was saying earlier, all the great use of the redstone and the fact that you saw each of the powered rails a decent distance apart, like you would in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Except for that one part he forgot to power.
He forgot. He was one block too short.
Like,
He's
again,
not one block too
specifically-
short. He's like 30 blocks too
again,
short.
specifically in that part of his creeper mine.
Yeah.
He
like-
forgot to put.
That's so funny in retrospect. Oh yeah, I forgot to put one more in my creeper vine.
Yeah, in this hole I filled with creepers, I forgot to put my safe
What?
escape for it.
Why do you need a creeper mine? There's so much gunpowder in the world. How much TNT are you making?
I mean, he needs. If you have what 4 or something elytra, when you don't think anyone else will ever show up.
Have you ever
Yeah.
actually used like TNT as an actual tool in the game? It's
Yes.
way too expensive.
Sometimes.
I have.
Maybe
I have
in
used
creative
it, yeah.
mode, but not like actual survival.
No, if you have a good survival creeper farm.
The sand is what's expensive about it.
That is true.
The real secret, though, is using. You can make a creeper farm, which has a sugarcane farm at the same time, and you can have a fully automated, at least with the new crafting updates, you can have a fully automated level 3 firework rocket farm that produces automatically firework rockets.
Okay.
Infinite. It's fair. I like it a lot. That, I like to think, is what Steve had somewhere
Somewhere.
unshown.
unshown.
Yeah. Do you think every time the game updates, he just thinks about this new thing?
He
he
probably
should make?
is really mad because all of his mods just
Didn't the
broke.
fucking Max Brooks book actually go over like what an in-game update is like?
Hell if I know. I've never read them.
Oh, I did read them. I did read those books, and I think there was like where Steve was like, "What the fuck is going on here? That wasn't here before."
I can shear sheep now when they regrow their wool. What magic is this?
What is this?
This just makes sense, I guess, now.
Yeah.
But
I would
Yeah.
love a series where it's just the Max Brooks Minecraft series animated in like a TV format where it's just like episode
Yeah.
by episode, someone desperately trying to understand the world that they have been dropped into.
I mean, they're kids' books. They're a little short, but I enjoyed reading them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's Max Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it specifically about his reaction when playing Minecraft with his kids.
Yeah.
So,
sounds right.
which is the same thing Jack Black did, mind you. He did research by playing 100 hours of Minecraft with his kids.
Man.
Oh, now I'm being reminded of like a moment right before the final battle where they're all like hyping themselves up. They do like the arms in the middle thing.
Yeah.
They fucking did the like countdown and just saying Minecraft. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Why?
one person did. They all said different things, but one of them said Minecraft,
Minecraft.
and they're like, "Okay, are
Like,
we doing
we
Minecraft?
mine
Okay, let's do
Minecraft.
that." And they're like,
no,
let's
we
not
don't
do
have
that."
time.
Yeah.
Like, of all the things, I get it. That's the funny, and I like that they did the funny. But it's like, come on, that's a little too obvious, guys.
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
That was a lot less offensive, not offensive, but a lot less
They
outrageous
had
than
to
anything
get
else
a
I've seen.
title drop in there somewhere.
You have to have a title drop. It's like Invincible. You
Yeah.
have to have it at some point there. So
I
it's
guess you
something
can say
really-
there really was a Minecraft movie. We're not done here.
Yeah, we're
It's
not.
just-
What else have we not talked about?
The entire underwhelming ending of it all that I honestly could have left the theater to get more popcorn for.
Yeah, the entire like invasion of the Nether kind of felt forced.
It wasn't even the invasion. Well, yeah, I guess.
Part of it was the invasion kind of just being like, yeah, the heroes are going to fight back, and no, they kind of just made a bunch of golems.
They made a bunch of iron golems. I mean, to be fair, that is the realistic outcome. It's like,
That's
somebody's
true.
gonna screw up your village. It's like, okay, here's all my iron that I guess I have now.
Yeah,
I mean, Steve was
18.
mining a lot.
that is true.
He did a lot of mining off screen, okay?
He does off-camera
True.
mining exclusively for like years.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, if I learned that I could make anything to my heart's, anything I could imagine, I just needed the resources. I'd be in those mines for a while.
He did yearn for the mines as a
He
child.
yearned for the mines. This was his dream.
He was the kind of guy that literally dug to the entire opposite end of the world in a straight line to do strip lines or
Yep.
strip mining,
Yeah.
like line by
Exact-
line strip mining.
Yeah, you don't want to dig 5 feet underneath the map because he definitely hollowed that
Yeah.
entire thing out.
Yeah.
God, no. That ending scene, honestly, yeah.
I was so
In game,
underwhelmed.
what are you gonna be asking? I mean, like, what are you thinking?
They
is
set up
gonna be
some
funny?
iron golems.
I mean, like, ready build army.
Yeah.
Set up in game.
They set up some iron golems, they tamed some dogs. One of the iron golems just flat out gets made with speedy boots, which, okay, they bring the speed boots to the final battle. It's like, oh sweet, we can finally see what these stupid speed boots that don't even exist in this version of Minecraft do.
Like, I
And
would-
he puts the boots on, like, the pumpkin part of the golem, and it makes, like, this OC, like, speed golem.
My OC Iron Golem do not steal.
The Minecraft OC.
But like, genuinely, it would have been cool to see the kid just
Speedo
like,
goblin.
wear those boots for a while, go around like doing his thing with us like a diamond axe, before realizing, hey, I'm only going so far with this. What if I?
Take the boots off and put them on top. Which, by the way, yeah, he
It
doesn't-
did seem like an accident, like at least what they were trying to like doing the like he accidentally scrolled his mouse wheel to a different
To a thing.
hotbar item
And it happened to work.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they were playing it off as, but it still was like you could have like at least started by using them in combat before going, hey, the power of imagination is kind of the entire shtick of this film. Let's just take those off and smack those in place, and bam, we got a funny thing we can sell later.
I
To be
was-
fair,
He
like,
shit ass. Do you want to see me speed bridge?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull us all the way to the start of the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
This
like
is
it's
the
almost
same-
like we've been bouncing around this entire thing like we
But
have
I'm
one
gonna pull us-
fucking brain cell.
I'm gonna pull us all the way to the start of the film. And I
Alright.
need to ask. So, canonically, they were there for one day.
Yep.
So, this kid goes to school, gets told by the vice principal, hey, we're the worst school in the world, thanks for joining. He gets sent to art, science, weird class, where he gets told to do a still life, draws a jetpack, everyone makes fun of him, so he presumably runs home to the place he just went to and welds up a jetpack that works, or
I'm pretty sure that was
just
in
went
school.
somewhere in the school, made an entire jetpack.
No, that it was shown. He took odds and ends from the school and
Yep.
made the
I missed
jetpack.
the odds and ends bit, but if you check on that, there's welding bits on
Yeah.
that.
Don't worry about it.
There's
He
a
wel-
welding class.
My buddy here, he has made an entire jetpack in like 5 minutes. Yeah, honestly, if you have the power of imagination in the real world and can just do whatever you want,
Yeah.
there's no reason to stay in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he could
Well-
probably have made that potato gun was
Yeah.
probably just something he made already and
Well-
just made it again.
Yeah.
Well, no, what I was gonna say is there is a fear if you have the potential to kill Idaho's mascot, Little Potato Man, then everybody hates you and you have no life purpose.
That is
Yeah.
true. The item
Then
mascot.
Minecraft is the world for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Villagers will not judge you no matter how many houses you blow up.
Yeah.
True.
But
They are
no,
completely pacifistic.
I'm not done with that final battle though. By the
No.
way, that was an actual snooze fest. Like I legitimately would if I didn't have my phone turned off and actually like watching the movie because it was a Minecraft movie and I knew we'd be talking about later, I would have either like walked out of the theater, get some more popcorn or soda, and come back because it was just like it's so long too. Like it is a sizable act of the movie and it's just like you know that they're gonna make it.
Like, yeah.
It's like a very anticlimactic battle where the pigs just kind of are around but not really fighting the heroes. And I think the coolest thing that even happens in that scene is that the OC Minecraft character, the freaking boot golem, just like suplexes the other OC giant boss. Which, by the way, where are these bosses coming from?
Probably Minecraft dungeons.
I guess.
To some degree. at
That's
least.
where we have to account everything
It's
is
the
coming
vibe.
from.
I mean, that is the vibe of like Diablo Minecraft.
Yeah.
Is like big boss do spin.
Do you want to know what we never even brought up?
Hmm.
The fact that no, this is the real thing. The real thing that kicks off the entire point of the movie is this poor like chick in the Nether, this little girl piglin that nobody appreciates for dancing to Pig Step.
Which is the best song, by the
The
way.
best song, and nobody likes it. So she's like, I took that personally, and that's what truly kicks off the entire
story.
plot of the game.
Exactly. This piglin, if
It's
they were
just
just
that.
if
If they were just respected for having good
Well,
taste.
I'm getting real. If this piglin was just accepted into art school type vibes, I'm gonna
Oh my god!
No! They became a dictator of their entire dimension. and killed everybody.
no.
No, they killed everyone.
They
literally
did.
killed every single artist and intellectual in
They
their entire
sent
building.
them out!
They Pol Potted
Oh
this
my
entire
God.
thing. Like,
That's out. You
No.
can't unsee it now!
I've been seeing it the entire time.
My god, you've been holding that
No,
back from
yeah, I've been
us.
holding it back, waiting for this
my
moment.
You
God.
didn't even, the fact that you didn't even bring us up before.
No,
That's
it's
been a
horrible.
while.
I mean, it's
And
legitimately
that never occurred to me.
never occurred to you. It occurred to me the second it happened. I'm
That's
like, oh,
my God.
yeah, they're no Piglin dictator stabs all children with imagination because they just couldn't. They didn't wait till the next like Nether's Got Talent and try and work a little harder.
The
about it or
Nether's
something.
got
No.
talent. That's
Wasn't that
like,
what it was?
That's
I
what it
guess
was.
that's what it was. Why did
That's
they?
what it was.
What was their talent? If that wasn't peak talent, then what was?
Probably a better dancer.
Maybe they got like I don't know. There's not really another song that you can play in whatchamacallit in the Nether.
13?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Also,
I guess-
oh yeah, I guess they do have diamonds in the Nether
Yeah.
for some reason.
Well,
Somehow.
those are in the chests.
Yeah, so
in
they
Nether
could
chests.
realistically make a jukebox.
That is true.
Yeah.
I guess there's also a question of, I mean, the Nether and the Overworld. The Nether had those portals that were just around.
Steve did find that weird portal in the conveniently placed chest next to it that
Yeah.
had the obsidian
The last
necessary.
obsidian, yeah.
And the flint and steel.
He was still able to find the end before he found this, though.
This is
Yeah.
true. And it was right outside his house, which is funny.
Yeah.
But it did just kind of bring up the question of, like, I don't know, like, they've gone to the overworld. I mean,
They've
people
been
the
everywhere.
Nether and the overworld have been connected before, canonically, in Minecraft. So, like, yeah, they probably have a lot of these resources, at least sitting around. Anyway, back to dictatorial piglin. Like, they're just not... Back away. I think...
What is even her name in the movie? I keep forgetting.
Mal something.
Mel something.
Malgosha.
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 Medical
We went
malpractice.
We went this entire
Oh,
discussion
yeah, there's
without talking about the main villain of the film.
There's
That's
a
how
villain.
important it is.
That's how important the Nether is up until the ending, yeah.
I'm
There
gonna,
is-
I'm gonna Gron become couch real quick.
For
I'm
all
so
intents and
fucking
purposes,
tired.
I
for
do
all
not
intents
blame
and
you.
purposes, yeah, there is a villain in this movie. I don't think there
Yeah.
necessarily needed to be one, but there is one.
I guess
Yeah.
they were the driving force behind the Nether being so
Again,
militant.
if it wasn't for her, there would be no plot.
Exactly, yeah. If it wasn't for her being so evil and petty, we would not have this entire plot. But, as it stands, her kickstarting this entire thing did give us that beautiful Michael Bay scene. So,
That is true.
That is good. I'm happy that they had a character like that. I think,
And
yeah, that ending fight was disappointing.
It
I
was
think
so
outright ending fight was just disappointing. Malgosha and her funny magic, which also was not mentioned here because Malgosha wasn't mentioned, but her and her funny magic really didn't matter at all through the entire bit. She was just dictator who showed up.
Yep.
I think the biggest character moment and the most important actual character moment that we haven't mentioned here is after they lose and after the sun returns and after they all start zombifying and Malgosha pulling off that, hey, come closer, I have something to tell you, and then immediately trying to stab Steve over and over and
like
over.
3 different
It's
times.
literally-
3 times that, hey, the villain wants to tell you their final secret. No, she just wants to stab him.
It's the only memorable joke in the entire movie.
Honestly,
not gonna lie.
got me laughing wholeheartedly.
Other than the
Truly
weird
great.
man sandwich joke, those are the only 2 things that stick out. In the entire
Man
movie.
sandwich.
Man
What about
sandwich,
Malgosha.
and constant.
Well, what about the entire subplot of the villager that went to
Oh my
Earth,
god, I can't
got
believe.
ran over by,
The Jeep Grand Cherokee. And
ended
the
up
vice principal.
ended up on a date with the vice principal, and things were heading off between them so well that they ended up together the next day.
Married the next day.
Yes.
He didn't even speak English. They didn't even know each other's language.
And
Well, actually, no. The villager understood her, but she did not at all understand the villager.
I think it would have been a little bit. I thought it was like a little bit funny, but it was like very unneeded too. It's literally something they threw in because they thought it was funny, and I think
Yeah.
To be
they
fair,
thought it was funnier than it actually was.
I think I do wish that he had the testificate voice.
Yes.
And they finally gave him his
So,
voice.
At the end of the film, they do give him a very like a real voice, and it's that one actor, that one guy who's like in like the later SpongeBob movies, who like voices like all of the super powerful characters, like the freaking dolphin or whatever, and the second one and the third one is
Also,
like
what we do in the
Poseidon.
shadows.
But anyways,
And
it's that
Fallout.
stoic British guy, and I'm
Not
like,
stoic.
Not
I
really.
say
No.
he's kind of stoic, right?
A little. A little.
He's a little, you know,
He's got a
he's
good voice on him. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
he's pronounced. But anyways, I thought that would have been hilarious if they would have gotten the guy that did Villager News. I would have popped off to that.
They have him working at Mojang. He works at Mojang.
He does?
He works at
They
Mojang.
could have
They
totally
hired
got him.
him to do Have you seen those Minecraft trailers that have come out recently? You know why that animation is so good? It's because it's the Testificate News guy.
Testificate News.
It is the Villager News guy who's
But it-
doing those animations.
That's wild.
But like, if there is any consolation, we did at least get a very like blink and you miss it cameo from Jeb.
This is
Oh yes,
true.
Jeb was in the movie. He was in the.
Okay.
He was in
So
the
it was
Wait
one of
for
the
half a
waiters.
second.
waiters.
During the again the date night between the villager. I think his name's like Daryl. They end up saying.
I don't know.
I don't think they ever say his name.
They do say it by the end during that like
Daryl.
mid-credit scene where they
God.
reveal that Jennifer Coolidge's character, the vice principal, and the villager got married, and like they were doing that whole bit. Yeah, I think his name's like Daryl or something. It was during that like date night where Jeb appears for like 2 seconds at most before like dipping behind like something in the foreground.
Yeah,
Wasn't
well,
Dan TDM also in the movie?
There were multiple Minecraft YouTubers that appeared during the auction scene fairly early on, apparently.
I didn't
I
know
I
was
didn't
looking at
recognize
them at
any
all.
of them, admittedly.
didn't know a single one. I'm sorry.
I didn't look for them. I should have looked.
But like apparently, I don't know the full list, but I know at least from the credits I recognize through IMDb, at least Dan TDM and Afmao made appearances.
Never
I'm
heard
not
of
sure who the other
them.
two that were credited, at least again through IMDb. Not sure who those two are offhand, but I'm sure they're, relevant enough for like the more modern-ish side of the franchise, fan base rather.
There was one joke in the movie. The only like legitimate pig character that was in the film
Oh yeah.
was like wearing a crown, and they're like, he's a legend, and I'm like, oh, that took me like a second, but I made the connection. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
gotta be some
Two
kind
brain cells connecting together to realize that Technoblade Memorial was put into the movie.
Yeah,
of. Yeah,
like no one, I don't think anyone would have expected that,
that was wild.
but
Yeah.
I'm so glad they did.
I am actually truly happy about that.
That is like probably the best way they could have done it as well.
Probably
Just as like
yeah.
a, if you know, you know.
Yeah, it isn't. If you know, but like it's
'Cause
also
realistically, like, more like, yeah, that's clearly a Technoblade reference, but it could also be seen as like a slight like in joke about Ruben from Minecraft Story Mode,
weird. Maybe.
like
Yeah.
a pig who sacrificed his life for the sake of the greater good in that story.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been multiple other pig characters, I'm sure, from different Minecraft YouTubers over the years. So it isn't explicitly like just a Technoblade reference
That
in
is,
a way.
I mean, it is brought up that there was at one point in earlier development supposed to be a statue in his village, where it was supposed to specifically, I believe, to be a Technoblade statue with the description "Hero of the Village." That was cut
Really?
though.
Of course.
That wasn't there. They had instead the pig with the crown walking across.
You know a lot more about the development of this movie than I do.
just
that's for
looked
sure.
it up.
Okay.
I just looked it up.
Just looked it up.
No, I'm trying to find what YouTubers were in the thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, over the weekend, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that was me.
That was me in the movie. Did you see me? No, I was too busy paying attention to Jason Momoa driving up the bid of this stinking rent a house or all of this guy's stuff.
Just to get scammed.
Mm.
Like, again, it's cool to see some of these, like, especially, like, these iconic YouTubers in the space being acknowledged in the film. And that's something I kind of wish we had more of with a lot of these adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Pat in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah, Matt Patton, Five Nights at Freddy's was like, I mean, that one was like on the nose as you could get.
It's just a theory, eh?
But hey, that's just a theory.
You okay, Levi? You checked out there, man.
He didn't like my pointing out that
Malgosha.
I'll
pork
cut
pot.
it out of the video if you really want me
He
to.
did not like my pointing out about pork pot.
God. Oh God.
He's collapsing.
Have you mentally recovered from it yet?
I'm tired, man.
We're almost
Tired,
We're
there.
almost done, man.
We're
I
almost
still have
there.
to point out the cool detail that I noticed that I don't
Come on,
think anyone
man.
else did.
I'll give you some of my Mountain Dew rip off Mountain Dew.
Not lightning.
Mountain Lightning.
The
Yes.
Walmart brands that I thought you didn't want anybody to know about.
Yeah. It's in the video now.
It's part of the bit now.
This video
Okay.
is sponsored by freaking.
No, it
You
ain't.
can't say that.
You can't say that.
I can't.
Hashtag ads.
It's not sponsored by
Sponsored.
Mountain Lightning.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so during the finale
The
sequence,
FTC will be on your ass in
Ew.
5 seconds.
Burst through your windows.
So-
Kick in your house. Kick your cat.
Okay.
so
Not Clay.
let's just
upstairs. It's fine.
yeah.
So during the final battle, portal explodes. The one detail that I like is you can still see remnants of the portal just floating in the frickin' air.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
That's
Like, I noticed it and it's like, that
That Minecraft, yeah.
absolute cinema.
absolute Minecraft.
Absolute Minecraft. Because that's just how it works in Minecraft. If something gets destroyed and there's nothing
It just
under
sits in
it,
there.
it just sits in the air.
He did headbutt that tree at one point, and it
Oh yeah,
just
that's
covered
in
it.
the movie. He fucking ran into a tree and was his headbutt was so powerful
That it completely
That it-
destroyed it.
that it-
And
no tools, nothing,
the
just
kid
head.
And the kid just sat there for like 10 seconds looking,
Rotating wood.
rotating
Thank
wood.
goodness
That might have been his concussion.
Thank goodness all of the skeleton jockeys just conveniently blew themselves up to make that
yeah.
whole scene like lose all of the tension behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, yeah, that ending was just so low stakes, man. It was just writing out the movie till the end. It was like they did their thing, the freaking what is it even called? The freaking cool Speedy OC Iron Golem crushed the freaking Minecraft guy, and they're like, "Yay, we did it!" And then they were like, "Okay, we can go back home." And they're like, "Hey, friggin' Steve, do you want to come home with us?" And he was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay here." Wait, nah, actually, I'm gonna come with you.
Actually, hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Follows out. And that's like the end of the actual...
And that's
Nope.
the end of the movie. Well,
Well,
it's
no,
not
there's
even
the
that.
dance party.
It keeps going on. It goes on for like another solid 7 more minutes of these guys
Just
proceeding
dance
with their
party.
lives.
Because
and
you
everything
need
is
to
magically
have Jack Black sing more.
everything is
Exactly.
magically better now that they've played Minecraft and left.
And had all those diamonds in his pocket.
Yeah.
That would actually make things better. The fact that...
So I got derailed earlier because I was trying to talk about Jason Momoa's story arc, which was stupid.
It was
He's
so
a
dumb.
jackass for the sake of being a jackass and for the sake of having a story arc of being like, I'm the cool guy, except for actually I'm a loser and I'm a jerk and I'm selfish
And I'm also poor.
and I'm
Also
poor. Where it's like, hey, I stole the Tesseract from the child and I'm like, Mr. Steve, you're gonna get me some of these treasures you said about in your note. So we're going to go through the dangerous mine and I'm going to pillage your diamonds or you're not getting the orb.
Yeah.
And then the child clocks this man instantly, being like, are we here just for the lazy old man to get his diamonds? And Steve's just like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the child's like, you suck. And then the guy's like, man, you're right.
Yeah. You wanna know the funny thing is? The actual diamonds were not that far into the actual, mountain either. They could have just gotten the mountain.
This man hit one pressure plate and found it.
Yeah.
By sheer accident.
I don't think he even... How was Steve planning to get into his thing? Was he just... You have to Rube Goldberg
Yeah.
the entire thing?
He was
right
hit
there,
with a pufferfish. I guess pufferfish made it.
I was
He
going to
got
say,
bounced
what
by
was
the
shooting
slime
out at
ball.
him?
I thought they were pufferfish, so
They
he
were
got
pufferfish.
nauseated, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay, I
I don't know
couldn't
if that
tell.
works in
I think it's just
Minecraft.
poison, isn't it?
No, I think maybe if you put a bucket of pufferfish in a dispenser, maybe it will shoot out one.
But
No,
wouldn't
no, it
that
doesn't.
would just dispense
It
the
just
water.
dispenses the water.
That's
it doesn't
wild.
shoot
Happens to
pufferfish.
have a pufferfish.
I don't know, man.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. Just gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
You can't-
Cactus block.
Dispense a cactus block, yeah.
Instantly pops.
I mean, they can't have them actually shot with arrows because that's actually bad and will kill you.
Yeah.
That will
Yeah.
kill a normal person. They can't go through and have Jason Momoa
They could take
stabbed with an arrow.
They can take a creeper to the face, but they can't take one
Well,
arrow
yeah,
or
because
that's
that's
on
just a
point.
gag.
Yeah.
But you an arrow's again, it's sharp.
Yeah.
It's a sharp,
Yeah.
pokey thing that's gonna stab you. You can have him stuck with a fish because
Yeah.
that's just a fish. It's
Whatever.
not an arrow. That's
Yeah.
dangerous. That's deadly. That's scary.
You know, the funny thing is the pufferfish is probably way more dangerous than the actual arrow if you think
absolutely.
about
Well, I
it.
mean, not in this case because the characters weren't shown to take damage like characters in game.
Yeah.
They
That
weren't
is
ever
true.
shown that. they, for all intents and purposes, are
They
just
don't
people.
tilt sideways
Yeah.
and turn red for a second.
Exactly.
Even though Steve, during the final battle, he did like fucking like just kind of like go like yeah,
Yeah.
like
He did, like-
Steve does in fucking Smash Brothers.
He did like Matrix style stand right up from on the ground, right?
Well, after his chest plate was destroyed, which
That's right.
the
It-
diamond
it took
armor
a
was
one hit.
so disappointing.
Yeah, it was
Honestly,
so bad.
the fact
No,
that
she hit it right on the shear line.
Apparently, it's just like real life diamond armor, where if you hit it once, it just completely shatters.
get out of here, Mad Pat.
Mhm.
But like,
Go back to retirement.
Go
Back to retirement.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ugh.
That ending scene kind of fell flat,
What
except
absolutely
for
did.
the final scene with, you know, with the piglin leader just actively, just desperately, weakly trying to stab him over
Even
and over.
that
and
I
over
felt
again.
like went nowhere though. I mean,
I mean,
it
went
was
nowhere because
funny,
she's dying
but
to
it
death.
was like that. It was like, yeah, I don't know.
She's dying, and her last act is to try and kill more people.
Yeah,
She's just hateful. I think that truly does cement
Yeah.
her
she
character.
never did
And
get to
Sting-
dance to the rest of Pig Step.
No, she just
Mhm.
was hateful and killed everybody who ended up practicing art or intellectualism.
Yep.
Full pig. She's
man.
like just killing
Only
everybody.
cowards destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good speech. I like that speech. That
That
was
was
a
a
good
fun
speech.
speech.
I think the
Yeah,
whole-
exactly. The idea that creativity is harder than to be creative and to build is harder than to destroy. You know, I think that's calling out all of like the little cousins who always burn people's houses down when they get
Yes.
in your Minecraft world.
And,
But-
but like creativity is more fulfilling in the long run as opposed to just sheer destruction, etc., etc. Which I mean, that is a core tenet
It's also
of.
a greed is bad thing.
Oh yeah,
because,
absolutely.
You know, the gold being her entire goal and the entire goal of the piglins generally. I
That
mean,
is
like
true.
kind of like a fight against the idea of greed and the fight against destruction, especially because they destroyed their own world and they were planning to strip the world of all of its beauty and resources. That's kind of like an anti-destroying the world concept.
Yeah, it was-
Shocking! I know.
I was gonna say, if you really think about it, I don't really think their plan is like all too well thought out. So their plan is to basically just go to the real world and then do what? Not real world, just literally the overworld and do what? They just
Mine more gold because
Get
they ran
more
out of
gold,
gold in their place.
and that's it. That's just their
And
life
then-
now.
Yep.
And then the overworld just ends up becoming a second Nether.
Yeah. To
Okay.
be fair,
then they
it's
move on
kind of
to-
better because you don't have a ceiling above you.
That
Less
is
chance
true.
of random lava falling on your head. But
That
like,
is true. But then eventually that greed just will extend inevitably to
Yeah.
the earth, which is why she needed to be
it's like
stopped. when
Mordor
she did.
stuff. Yeah, but it's yeah, as it stands generally there. That was the total bits there.
That
I
was
think-
practically the whole movie, I'd say.
I'd say the
Yeah.
final,
I
my
think we had-
final statement about that. I don't know if anyone's else got like a final statement about their bit, but like, I didn't like the fact that Steve came back to the real world.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't. I don't really like it all that
To
much.
be honest, I don't even know what to make of the ending. I
I-
kind of checked out. I'm like,
Fair
okay,
enough.
let's get those credits rolling, guys.
Steve abandoned his entire life to go into the mines. He discovered
Mhm.
this whole world, and he lives with these. I mean, he lives with these villagers. He
Yeah.
speaks their language. He lives in their village. He's found another community within this world where his imagination can run wild and free.
Yeah.
Specifically stated at the beginning of the movie that the real world was stifling, well and truly stifling for him.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
now that he met more people who were extremely pushy to get back to their lives, now his life that he has made for himself, by himself, in this world of like pure imagination and creativity, he abandons it in return to work at a video game shop with a guy who extorted him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems I can see the reason behind it, but I also can see it like an equal number of reasons why it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
I guess part of it is just a story of finding out what matters most to you in life. It just is not exactly the best executed in the context of Steve's story throughout.
Yeah. It's that hero's journey. Start at the home, go off on the adventure, come back home.
Yeah.
AKA, it was basically a Jumanji movie, and they needed all the people to
They
leave the game in
just-
order
Yeah.
to have a Jumanji
They
movie.
just play
Yeah.
Jumanji again.
Yeah.
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 Oh, and Alex.
Alex was at the end, yeah.
And Alex
Yeah.
was there at the end, but that
Yeah.
didn't really matter.
I'm
because it was the
glad that
final
they
movie.
didn't tease Minecraft 2 specifically. That's the one thing I'm really proud for, because if there's one thing I rolled my eyes at the Mario movie, it's like, yeah, there's a sequel
This
coming.
is sequel bait.
And it wasn't even like well teased sequel bait too. It's like you already showed Yoshi's in the movie, but it's like for Minecraft, it's like you can close this as its own book. Alex is there at the end as an Easter egg. It
And
could
it's
go
just,
into
you know,
a sequel if they really think
if
that
they
they can
think
get
it's
any
worth it.
mileage out of it, but I don't know.
Jack Black and redhead woman.
I think this is kind of a once and done experiment. I think we had our Minecraft movie. It is a Minecraft movie. I just don't really see, like, is there that much intrigue in a sequel? Would you really want to see a sequel with these characters? Like, I don't know. It's just
Counterpoint: Warner Brothers doesn't care if it makes enough money.
yeah. Well, it will.
Warner
It's the
Brothers
freaking
will-
Minecraft
It's the
movie.
Minecraft movie.
It
yeah.
will chug if it chugs out enough money for Warner Brothers. They're gonna greenlight a sequel no matter what.
See, that's when we're gonna go to the end.
That's why they're saving the end.
They might have done that.
The end that they've already canonically needed to do to get to the points in the story they did.
Don't think too hard.
My cope on that is somehow, as part of the negotiations for the Pillagers and Enderman agreeing to coexist in some kind of mutual respect, the Pillagers were allowed to get some kind of loot from the End Cities, which would include Elytra.
Okay, well,
That's
sure.
my cope, and thus and through that, Steve is able to go out and find woodland mansions where he's finding, the rare Elytra.
Sure.
I wish they had used that golden apple.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Steve.
Just
I would
nom
have
it down?
loved to see Jack Black shove a prop gold apple entirely into his mouth.
Yep.
I would have liked that.
That would have been nice,
Yeah.
but it's not the world we live in.
Alright.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts, yay or nay, this is it. Let's get the tomato meter out. I am a clear rotten.
Yeah.
Okay, I usually give movies the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, man, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I feel like maybe I could have done better if I made it, but it's just like, as a Minecraft movie, it's just there. It's like, even like the Mario movie, if you know that you're watching like a movie with like Illumination making a Mario movie, yeah, it plays it safe. But it's like you're getting what you're paying for. You're ordering a Big Mac and you're getting a Big Mac. This is like ordering a Big Mac and then you're getting like Whopper nuggets. And it's like, what? At least get me what I'm ordering. But I don't know. It's just like you're not getting a Minecraft movie to me. I think you're getting Jumanji with the Minecraft skin on top of it. A Minecraft flavoring to your beautiful Jumanji 2. I'd still take it over Pixels,
Scroll all the
though.
way to the top. We have our fucking closing statements written down.
I wasn't able to read those.
Again, I'd take it over Pixels any day, but honestly, I don't think I'd take it over anything else I've seen in the last 10 years in terms of gaming media. I mean, other than Borderlands, but let's be real.
I mean, Borderlands was a crap show.
Borderlands was a borderline disappointment.
Also,
Borderline.
haven't seen that.
Yeah, Pixel. It's better than Pixels. Like Pixels is that high of a bar.
Oh, damn signal.
But realistically, I think the one thing that really doesn't quite hit home for me is the fact that they didn't really go completely all in on some of the more Minecraft-y aspects of the concept. It's just hard to describe why it doesn't quite complete itself for me, but it kind of just feels like, yeah, this is a fun family adventure that happens to be partly Minecraft, as opposed to just jumping entirely into what makes Minecraft Minecraft. It has a lot of those elements, but it doesn't quite complete that journey, as it were. I still think it's a solid film, like generally positive overall. It just isn't anywhere near like the top of my list for this year in terms of like films I enjoy.
Yeah.
I took this movie for what it was, which is a children's film for children.
And in that case, what it showed and what it did, it wasn't made for, lore heads who are looking for all the aspects of Minecraft to be shown one-to-one within a movie. They were there to take Minecraft, which is something that, kids love, and turn it into a movie with Jack Black and Jason Samosa and a bunch of other actors, and like to slap together a movie where you go to all these places, do all these things, fight the monsters, and save the day in really kind of climactic, funny ways. And in that sense, they succeeded totally. They well and truly succeeded in what they were looking for, which was a very fun children's movie. If, for what it is, which is a family movie, it did well. Did better than well. I think they truly did all that they needed to do and more for what they were aiming for. My only gripe is that, Garrett the Garbage Man should not have come back to real life. He was foreclosed on. I don't think he's getting that place back. For tax reasons, I think he should have stayed in the overworld. But other than that, I think Stephen Garrett should have stayed. But other than that, I give it glowing remarks.
Wow, so we got all three sides of the spectrum, huh? We got a glowing negative review, we got a middle ground, and we got a highly positive. Alright, Levi, break the mold. What's it gonna be?
It was a Minecraft movie. Alright. And I give it a solid standing popcorn bucket.
There you go! The Minecraft movie breaks out positive.
But, yeah, in all honesty, it was a solid movie, and I enjoyed the time I spent watching it. Even if I went by myself, I still would have enjoyed it, but I enjoyed spending the time with you guys as well.
That is true.
Seeing the movie. Kind of shitting on it when we were watching it. I mean, that's kind of the best part of watching movies with friends.
Oh, yeah.
I really do have to say, I am enjoying how many video game IPs are getting faithful. I don't want to say faithful, but faithful enough movies that are definitely made with love for the source material.
Yeah, that is true. There was like an actual amount of love that was put toward this.
Like, even though Minecraft movie and the Mario Brothers movie and Sonic 1 all relatively played it safe when they came out, you can definitely see that the people making these movies enjoy the source material, probably grew up with the source material, and enjoyed themselves doing it, working within the constraints of taking an interactive medium and putting it on a 16 by 10. What is the aspect ratio of widescreen movies?
It depends on the aspect ratio that they filmed it and made the film on.
16 by 9, 1080p, because this fucking movie theater this guy works at uses dinosaurs for technology.
Apparently the files are listed as 4K, but
Those projectors are not pushing 4K.
No.
You can't. Your theater can't even get the keystoning for the screens right. I was so mad. The top corner of the projection was like curved.
Yeah.
That is...
I didn't even notice that.
Now you're going to notice every time you're in that theater.
Jeez.
Is it just that one theater, like
three,
or is it all of them that are all
There
messed
are
up?
mild issues like that in most screens. We just have not had a lot of time lately to
and probably
add
don't
anything
care
else.
enough. Because I'm probably the only person that's gonna notice that the keystoning on the fucking projector is off.
Yeah, like no one else has said anything, at least to us.
You get distracted by what's going on in
Yeah, I
the
was
middle of
gonna
the
say,
screen instead
you were
of
having
watching
such a
the
motivational
outside.
speech, and then literally, you remember
Now you're dunking on my job, Mike.
completely lost the goal.
Honestly, this was a mid-movie. By the way, I didn't watch it. I was staring in the corner the entire time. 10 out of 10 did not watch.
Shiny popcorn bucket. There you go.
The funny TNT popcorn bucket out of 10.
There we go. We
Did
do
they
have.
make a TNT popcorn bucket for this?
Oh no,
It's
you,
like
Yeah.
AMC only.
you do remind me of one important thing that we still have to talk about, though, Levi. With all these movies getting movie adaptations, there was one beautiful cameo in this movie from none other than Rob the Robot himself. everyone's favorite robot operating buddy. Operating buddy, is that right?
Yeah,
Robotic
Robotic operating buddy.
Smash Bros. Movie confirmed.
So when is the Smash Bros. Movie happening?
At least wait for the Zelda movie to release.
We got him in. We got Rob. That was probably the hardest character to implement, all things considered.
Even though we had Punch Out make an appearance in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Nah, Rob would have still been harder to do.
Yeah, fair.
So what do we got now? We got Mario, we got Pokemon, we got frickin' Zelda coming. Now we got Minecraft, we got Sonic. Now we got Rob. Kid Icarus makes an appearance in the Mario movie.
I know this is a smaller thing, but when it comes to game movies that are coming out, Iron Lung is going to be coming out soon.
I don't think that's going to be in the Smash movie.
That
I
would
don't
not
think it's
be a
going to be the
Smash
Smash movie, but like generally for like game
That
movies that are coming out soon.
That is true. And again, Until Dawn's coming out later this month.
Pretty sure Castlevania has a TV show.
A couple Netflix series.
Yeah,
seasons of
they're
Netflix
great.
series.
They're beautiful, amazing.
Again, Mortal Kombat 2 sometime within the next year.
Mortal Kombat characters in Smash? Okay, I don't think we're listing movies from Smash anymore.
My
My
point
point
is,
is,
video games in general.
everything
Do
is
we
coming
want to get
together.
into the Nintendo timeline right now of all times?
I don't think so.
It is 20 past 3.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I
fucking
vote
Christ.
against going into a Nintendo timeline at this point.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen, but not today.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours in this part of the recording.
Alright, I think that's it.
Like 4 hours of goddamn recording. God.
Alright, we gotta
God.
have an outro.
I thought your outro was just going to be a crash you ending talking about Rob.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just in case, for my channel. Well, I guess that's our video. If you guys liked it, feel free to give it a like. A little like goes a long way. As I
Subscribe
always
to
say.
this man. He
Subscribe
puts
to me!
too much work into his content, his mods, the
Mhm.
shit he makes.
It
This is
is-
the most creative man that I happen to be very good friends with.
Thank you, Levi. That means
Press
a lot.
that like button, leave a comment to engage. Just fucking watch his videos, man.
Yeah.
He's super talented.
Watch the Double Dash stuff. It's good.
The double dash is big, yeah.
Watch it again if you have.
Dolphin Prodigy is the greatest racing story ever told. That fucking...
He's gonna have to censor so much of this, dude. You know that.
I know.
Funny grass block place noises.
That's...
Starbucks.
They're
cake.
shoving-
The Starbucks cake pop! You cannot that's not a bee! That is a grumpy yellow cat with the biggest chin you've ever seen! Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
You should
Good night,
subscribe.
Overworld.
And this guy's helping making a Pokemon ROM hack.
I'm
cool.
a mod.
He's a mod.
I'm
You're
Discord.
a Discord moderator.
mod. And it shows.
You are also composer, are you not?
No.
Nominative determinism, but it's like just like physicality.
Can you tell he's a Discord mod?
Yeah. Did you become the Discord mod and then you like formed to it, or was it that you formed to it and then you're like, I should really start modding Discord? Do you moderate Reddit?
No.
Okay. Bro, it's that like the second you touch that thing, it's my 800-pound life.
Yes, exactly.
Another you form and you battle out to see who will absorb who.
Oh, I think that's a wrap. Have a
It's
good
very
night, guys.
mean. Don't put that in the video.
It's gonna be.
There's gonna be a lot of cuts
There's
here.
gonna be some cuts.
You should add the "that's mean." Don't put that in the video. Though. Just like put that at the end.
Yeah.
That was mean. Don't put that in the video.
Yeah.
At least I'm taking it in stride. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We survived.
Like it reality.
Stop recording!